Oh no, they're extra stupid. And go.
There was like a breathless moment where I.
What are you
Oh god, I was finding the camera frame. Hello everybody. Hey everybody, I'm Solros. These are my friends. Welcome back to our continuing game of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Today is our Halloween special. Like as you can see, anybody want to go around and tell them what you are?
As you can see, I can't.
You want to start?
As you see, but I can't.
Oh, that's creepy like that.
What?
You can put your face through the screen
I'm big. Honestly, it just looks like a weird circus show where there's a willy behind it.
Oh no. You take it to Penis Town.
What
you
is
met me?
Alright, so anybody want to go down?
You go first.
I go first.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm the monitor. I'm the thing that watches you while you watch porn. Every secret that you have, I see, unfortunately.
Just think about Brave Little Toaster.
And so we can just go through. All I gotta say is, I know you like My Little Pony. I just won't tell anybody about it.
I like all the clapping.
Just people won't stop clapping. Yeah, that's about it.
I am Tam.
Oh, nice. Okay.
He's Tam Toscobble.
He's Tam.
My head is swimming in here now.
There we go.
Brave!
Can you hear any of it? I guess
He doesn't have his monitors in.
I'm a necromancer.
And I have Parkinson's.
That makes you a bad person.
No, you don't have Parkinson's yet.
Ha-da-da!
Well, you guys do have it. You just aren't showing signs of it yet.
He isn't showing symbols.
Oh no, it's starting!
Best part, that was entirely unintentional.
I imagine most Parkinson's is.
Wow.
My roll's going to be extra energetic today.
I need new dice!
trying to like land them in the neighboring fucking
Bang! In the chips. We have chips. They're right there. You can't have any.
Alright.
And a brown.
So hey everybody, I'm Saul Ross. Welcome back to our continuing game of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. These are my friends, unfortunately. And we're kidders. We're just skidders here. Anyway. So, with that being said, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for joining. I love everyone's costume, by the way. I like that Darren committed with the beard.
And the hair. That's like a whole process.
Yeah. It looks good though. I'm a fan.
Looks good.
I am definitely a fan.
I wish to do our fucking characters.
We gotta get
here, huh?
No.
You're just gonna get such a pain in the ass. No, just get a bunch of Coke cans.
Yeah. Just do what I did. Just make a sphere though. It just had the arms and legs dangling off. So it's just on your head.
If ever there was a year to do it, I have about 10 extra sheets of foam from the show on the proscenium. I could have just like, all right, melt this on the inside, bend it. I'll make myself a globe, and then I won't fit between here and the wall.
Oh, yeah. Next year, maybe.
Or how about this? How about even better? Oh, my head's cut off in this camera. I just noticed.
Wham, wham.
Oh, you wouldn't even have been able to see the other thing. Oh, we're going to go up a little bit. Hey, everybody.
Oh.
I'm sorry that you all had to join me on that scary adventure.
Did they get to see the whole thing?
Hopefully. But now I'm not convinced. It's all right.
Wham, wham.
So let me go ahead and pop this out while you all are doing your thing. Oh, beard got a little floofy in that process. It's all right. It happens to the best of us. Ooh. Staring right at the camera. Oh no. Okay, so how's everybody doing? You guys doing good? We had a successful Cuphead yesterday.
I heard about that.
Every level
First try on every level, all of them. The genie
done that.
did it.
How'd you like the genie?
I don't know. The first try though, right?
Hey, isn't that great how you're like, wow, okay, this has got to be the final stage, and then there's like 3 more stages beyond that.
Nope.
May not have beaten him yet. May have been an exaggeration on the first try.
Well, I mean, we can't first try every level.
Yeah, you know, there got to be some that give up.
Except for the one in the log and the fucking genie.
Yeah, it's no fun if you just ace it.
The fucking log.
Like, how are people fucking... This isn't even close to a rage game.
And then...
No.
And then 45 minutes of the log. I think I'd given up on life at the log.
I enjoyed the log.
That would have been a fun level. Just, yeah.
Do you have to be on the same computer to play co-op?
Mm-hmm. You'd be side by side. It was fun.
Let's
Maybe
bring it
next
back to
time.
old school.
We got a follower. We got a Mr. Kitterox. Was having fun with us, helping us out, giving us the inside scoop on some things while we were playing. Those pro strats, so I appreciate that. That was fun.
Is it like the pro strats that other Dark Souls players try and give you?
Get good?
No, he was just telling us where stuff was.
Like,
Which
hey,
was
if you jump off this cliff, there's a treasure down at the bottom.
Yeah, those are the worst kind of.
Always is.
I remember that happened in Bloodborne.
The
they show
treasure-
where people die.
The
in
treasure
Bloodborne.
is knowledge.
The treasure is.
And learning something new.
I remember you went up to the cliff. You're like, I don't know what to trust. I don't know if this is.
I did that once. There was a cliff in Bloodborne. It's like, jump here, find treasure. And then there was another one, don't listen, this guy's
And
lying.
you're like, I don't know what to do. And you go back and forth, and there was like this splattering of blood like on the top. You're like, I don't know.
One of these guys always tells the truth.
And one of them's always telling a lie.
How do we figure this out? We have to ask one
The
question.
second god wrote this.
Right.
Oh, just shoot them both.
Yeah, right? No, you only gotta kill one. You kill one and say, is he dead?
Did you read that Ogleif? The guy goes up and he finds the two doors, and it's like one of us tells the truth and one of us only lies. You have to decide which. And he goes, nope. And he just rips one of the doors off the hinges, and he goes, I'm taking you back to sell you in my shop. And he drags it back to town and just leans it up in the shop. And a woman comes in, she's like, oh, what a pretty door. And he goes, everything in the store is 50% off today. He's like, don't listen to him, he's full of shit.
Nice.
No, my favorite was the one where they walk up to the wall. And the wall says, like, don't investigate, or there's nothing here behind this wall or whatever. And they're just, like, standing there staring at it like, well, what if it's a trick? Totally not.
I always enjoyed the other one too. There's three doors. One of them always tells the truth. One of them always lies. And the third door stabs people who ask stupid questions. Or tricky questions.
I just imagine a knife coming out and just janking someone.
Ow!
Wait, which door is which? And they're all just kind of
They
like.
all stab.
I think that's a stupid
Good
question.
Oh, shit.
You asking me stupid shit?
Yeah, no one said they had to be in order, right? It could be in any order. And you're playing a very dangerous game. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right into this.
The most dangerous game.
Hunting humans?
No.
Oh,
Just,
Yahtzee.
hunting us too.
Did you?
oh, speaking of
They really
speaking of the Yahtzee, here you can have these dice back. They're yours. All right, so with everything being said, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So previously on our last adventure, the Corpse Brigade arrived deep into the woad.
Us.
You guys followed you guys discovered that there was another band of individuals in the forest that you stalked back to their home very creepily. Set up shop in an abandoned building on the outskirts of a town you soon discovered to be named Barrons. Or Baron, depending on who you ask and when.
Is there Chuck Norris jokes going on?
There's not.
No, then it's
There
not
will
the
be soon.
Barons.
Huh?
There will be soon.
There will be soon. You guys wound down. You guys set up the watch. You tucked in and waited, and you discovered that what was considered to be nightfall in this eternal darkness that makes up most of the woad. You found that the dead rise, demons and monsters and devils come crawling out of anywhere and everywhere, and begin to sort of like swarm places, seemingly looking for, strangers. What just happened?
I can't reach the back.
I'm trying to knock down the collar.
Yeah.
You should have left it up, man.
Yeah, that's nice.
So you went from plague doctor
To just nobleman.
to actually to me, I'm
You
going
look
with
like a guard, an old tiny guard.
Jack the Ripper is what I'm.
Oh yeah, that's.
With the collar up, I was like, oh shit,
Like,
that's a good
okay.
Jack the Ripper outfit. He's like,
Too late
no.
now.
You can be whatever you want over
Just
there.
pretend this is a knife and stab someone.
Yeah.
Well, don't stab anyone for
Back
real.
off your mask.
Then it's gonna ruin it.
Jack the Ripper didn't care what he ruined.
Anyway,
Yeah, because he was ruining lives
back on topic here.
of prostitutes. And
It's always on topic.
You guys managed to finally decided to meet up with the townsfolk. In the morning, they decided they were clearing out the town to make sure there was nothing left, and you guys decided to pop out like friendly neighbors.
Oh, hey.
Hey, you won't be my neighbor?
Howdy, neighbor.
Howdy, neighbor. You left Lucrezia concealed for a reason I still don't understand.
Lucrezia.
Bird.
Lucrezia left herself concealed.
Theta went to the church to go look around, and the two of you went to go meet with the 4 hunters that seem to be primarily helping out the town. You learned that one of the horses that they were using to pull their cart had died throughout in the evening, so they used that to divvy up into some food, so their hunt for the day seemed to be canceled. And yeah, that's where we ended. Was you guys were kind of meandering about town. We'll put the starting time 8, 9, 10ish, somewhere in there. Morning time frame. It's hard to tell. The telemetry is all off.
This insulating layer needs to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Starts to get warm.
it does. It's reversible. There's camo on the inside.
But now nobody knows who you are.
3 or 4 layers.
Now you're back to being
3
denim
with
lad.
this. What? No, I'm-
Denim. Oh.
it's the fold back with the pattern. That's what does it.
That's what does it.
Oh,
All
it's
right.
So much more pleasant.
So,
What is this?
what are you guys doing? What's the plan?
We could check the house to see if we could find anything of import.
We could. I do want to check that church, but
Probably be best left at Theta and
yeah.
that's it.
All right, so that's canceled. I got in touch with the madam. God, I hope she's not evil. That'd be horrible. Why? Because I don't want to have to murder her. And you know that's how it goes, Tam. It's never, oh, I'm an evil wizard. You're an evil wizard. Oh, man, you're right. I'm so sorry. Tam. It's always, I'm going to fight you. Let me summon some undead or turn into a demon. That one guy passed out. That was weird.
Oh, yeah.
I just cut his head off. But anyway, look. We made a deal with a slumlord. I don't want to have to do that this time.
Want to cut off somebody's head or make them mad? I got lost halfway through.
I like the
I
slumlord.
feel like I got lost at the start of it.
I'm gonna go check houses.
That's a good idea.
You gonna go around and check homes
Yeah, see if I can find anything of use.
in the abandoned houses or the one that you were in?
Yeah, abandoned houses.
Oh, okay. So
Actually, no. I'm gonna
Let's look
head
for
back.
stuff to repair.
I have something I need to chop up at the house.
Fair enough. Then I will continue searching, looking for
right.
looking for materials. See if we can harvest some for like some of those busted houses to use to fortify the one
Okay.
we're staying in.
You notice as you guys separate, the townsfolk seemingly keep like a weary eye on you. But the longer you stay here, the more likely they are to just get used to the fact that you're there with them now.
Like a dog.
You're all in this together. Anyway, so Mr. Theta, you have skirted the outside of the church for some time now. So what would you like to do?
Were there busted out windows?
Correct. All the windows, all of the the windows on the sides have all been busted out.
Are they climbinable?
Yeah.
I'd like to climbinable then.
We gotta jump. You gotta go over the fence first.
Okay, I would like to
Step
scale
one.
the
Whatever
fence.
it takes to do so.
Would you like to make that check?
Yes, I'm actively looking for people and trying to avoid watchful eyes because he said they get mad at people that go in the church.
They do. All right. So go ahead and make
Oh,
yourself
I was
check,
like, did you
please.
stealth for me?
No, I rolled for
People.
townsfolk.
That's not great, but it's a 17.
17. As you so nonchalantly whistling as you walk away, you notice a couple of the townsfolk are kind of like picking up wood that have been broken off buildings, kind of recollecting things that have been broken throughout the night. You notice a little girl just kind of staring at you, and then as you're like not doing anything, she eventually just kind of walks away. She also just like turns and
remember her.
meanders out.
I remember her.
Yeah, same little. There's only like 3 kids in the town, so.
The
But
rest
she
of them
just
are dead.
she just meanders out. But you wait until a good opportune moment, and then you just kind of like go around the side. You do remember that you are catty corner to the
Mm-hmm.
matron's residence, and you do a little couple of quick looks, and then you're just kind of like over the small like picket fence. You just kind of like lay in land on your feet quietly. And you notice as soon as your feet touch down, the grass is dead. It's like a almost like straw and type of grass now, but it is completely alien from the grass that's surrounded you for the whole journey through the wood.
Like normal grass?
It is absolutely
like
normal.
Dry?
Yep, just not tended to.
Huh.
You notice that there's dandelion weeds, ragweed, just kind of like hanging out. Just it's overgrown because it's been left, but now mostly desiccated. But you just kind of stand there. You notice that there's bits of glass all over. Just kind of like sprinkling the yard. That's it.
I'm gonna go into the church.
Going in. So
and
you.
I'm gonna if I get in there, I'm gonna spend the day investigating it. That's okay. Or like not the day, but until like 3, 4.
So you stay low and you just kind of like meander up close to the building. It's not a very large yard that it has. It's just enclosed.
Like
you head up to one of the
6
windows.
feet.
Can you stand up? Look inside. You notice that it's mostly damaged from the inside. The outside seems to have suffered weather for the most part. The doors are all barred in the front, but the windows are all still open and shattered. And you just kind of like wait, and then whoop, inside. Quiet as a little mouse, your feet touch down. You wait. Looking around, you see that all the pews have been smashed, and they're all currently resting up against the various walls in heaps and piles. There's deep cuts in the ground, in the walls, in the ceiling that just like almost like beams have been like almost sundered completely in half, the support structure, and you like look around and it just looks like chaos, anarchy.
I would like to see if, as with anything like this, I can find the epicenter of the damage, if it was from a central point or if it was I want to try and figure out if the damage was caused by one moment of something happening or if it was caused over time by things.
Make an investigation check, please.
Yeah.
Explosion natural.
Investigation?
Mm-hmm.
21.
21.
Yeah.
As you see that the pulpit stands still there. And you notice it seems relatively unmolested. For all of its like dings and dents and worn out, the damage seems to have circumvented almost cone-like in front of that, and it just hits all around. And as you walk, and you position yourself almost right in front of the podium, you kind of get a sense that the destruction seems to come from somewhere in here, and that the forward-facing area seems relatively untouched. And with a 21, as you kind of like look around and try to like you dig your fingers in, you notice there are faint carvings, very faint, in very ornate carvings that are in the wood that almost seem to glow as you kind of trace your hands over them
On
the floor. And then as you follow with your eyes around, getting closer, you notice that it's painstakingly inscribed in some sort of magical symbol.
I would like to pull out. What do I have?
A brownie.
Come back to me in a minute.
Okay. Lucrezia, you're sitting inside, creeping.
Yeah, I did the whole like beard and
Yep, you
duck
made-
face, and
you
then
made
I'm
it.
gonna go upstairs and start looking around like the upper rooms.
Okay. Inside the rooms upstairs, you find mostly old clothing, men, woman. As you peer through the house, it's a big house, and you get multiple sets of like children's clothing, but there's no.
I think they took all the clothes and bedding or whatever was left and like threw it downstairs.
I don't know. There's a lot. I don't
Okay,
imagine
there's
they got
still more,
everything. Yeah, you'd need like a handful to do with like fire and stuff like that.
Well, fire and nests for the animals. There's all
Yeah, that's what I
so.
thought. Yeah. Okay, so.
Yeah, there's a
just,
lot
like,
of clothes in here.
clothing? Is
Huh?
there any like personal stuff?
That is personal stuff.
Some trinkets.
They can't read or write here, can they?
There's like, huh?
They can't like read or write here, can they?
Maybe.
Maybe. If you're looking for like a quill, you'd probably find like a quill in here if that's what you're talking about. An inkwell that's long dried up or
If I
poured
find
out.
those, I'm gonna start looking around for anything that's been like written.
Oh, you're looking for history.
Yeah.
You hear and you hear another one in the distance.
No.
It's getting closer.
It's a monster sheep.
It's a Shiba Inu.
Oi.
Oi, wait.
Good job.
Come here, little munchkin.
Hey, look, his face is back in.
Hey, look, he has a real face now. It's not a beak. Sure. Go ahead and make an investigation check. See if you can find it.
It's hidden pretty good. She was like 13.
Natural 20.
Natural 20.
That's a good use of that.
It's called the crypt dice too, so it's perfect.
Crypt dice.
Not blue.
Investigation. So it's 21 total.
21. Looking around the house, yeah, you find blank papers. You find a couple that have been written in with basic information, things like lists of things that they need. You find like calendar sort of events, like writing down like, oh, on the 21st is so-and-so's birthday kind of thing. Small bits of information, but as you go through the house, you ultimately end up finding your way into like the master bedroom upstairs. And as you're going through kind of like dumping things out and like not really paying attention, you end up finding that tucked between the bed frame and the bed itself is a journal, a smallish journal that's been kind of like sequestered back in that area.
Take it out,
It could still
and I'll
be.
look at it,
Okay.
and read it.
Yep.
I don't know if it was like a define.
You what languages do you speak?
Common and Elfin.
Yes, you can read it.
Okay.
You gentlemen, what are you doing? You're gonna be doing
I
that for a
run
while.
back to the
So.
house.
Read.
I run back to the house to chop something up.
You return to the house. What are you looking for?
I'm looking to see if they brought that dead body from the cart inside.
They did not bring it inside. So you run out to the cart to the outside. The body is not there. It's gone.
A fire grenade.
What goes in
Huh.
what goes in the ground ain't what comes out of it.
Don't want to go down that road.
I'm gonna look around the area, see if I see any webbed footprints.
Make a survival check.
Survive. Ooh, that's really good. That is a 21.
As you kind of look around the outside of this cart and you begin kind of like taking a look, you do notice that like the viscera that was made from all of the impact of the boulder, like far earlier, which shredded up most of the bodies, and most of the bits of that have been removed as well, just gone. And the viscera seems to pour off the side, and there very distinctly are footprints that meander off.
I'm gonna go inside the house and look for Lucrezia.
You hear the door open.
So
and
you're
he
sitting in
comes
an
inside.
easy chair, like curled up with
Am
someone
I like
else's
ransacking
journal.
the place or something, or have I found?
Huh?
Like by the time he comes in, am I still ransacking, or have I found the?
No, you would have found everything you've been
Okay,
reading.
So our corpse is missing.
What?
The fire nuke corpse is gone. It got up and walked away.
Wait, you got him walked away, or like somebody took it?
No, it walked away.
Wasn't that?
Remember yesterday Ma talked about that one of the villagers said that anything that dies here gets back up,
No.
or they seem to.
But that thing didn't die here.
No.
So is it like anything killed here?
We'll get to that. We'll get
I'm
to
so
that.
mad. That was in character. The other two.
And also, so is all the bits and viscera.
Took it. You said took what?
Apparently. I don't know what it's gonna do with gross parts of its friend.
It's
but
just like floppy skin and this kind of thing.
It's a foot.
But I know that like 2 of them got destroyed, so that was the last one. Fuck me, I'm so mad. Ah. Are you sure the townspeople didn't take it?
I mean, I could go follow the footprints and see where they lead, but it doesn't look like it leads into town.
Fine. You're letting me know.
Yeah.
Sulk.
Mr. Ma,
Sir,
what are you doing?
I'm searching for stuff that we can use to try and patch up a big asshole in the back.
Yeah, you can find it easy enough. You go around. There's a couple places that you think are abandoned, and as you go and like go to grab something, somebody like kind of like, yes, and then you're like, walk away.
Well, I want to focus on like that house where the big creature smashed. Like
Oh, he knocked it
Oh,
down.
the one that
totally destroyed.
Totally destroyed it.
First.
Yeah. Yeah, easy enough. You can gather up materials to go
Are there?
take them over.
I mean, I don't know if you're looking for them. Are there bodies in that house?
Are there bodies in there? I feel like it'd be. Well, I feel like it would
make an
tone them out
investigation.
and
Dun
fucking-
dun dun.
I will.
What if it just punched a sound
The
though,
bug
and then it
searcher.
collapsed onto the peeps?
Aw, Rapid's rolling.
As you begin pulling these pieces off, there's this moment of panic where you're like, oh wait, did somebody die in here? And then you kind of like look around and you you get that, it's like unnecessary panic. It's like, oh shit, like there might be somebody in here, and you begin pulling it, and it's not until you've like thoroughly just like made like a little bit of a mess, just tossing things aside, kind of like trying to look, that you realize that like in the morning no one seemed to care about that area of town. So you're like, wait a minute, okay, no one cared. No, I'm good. We're good. It's fine. Just kind of start collecting your stuff again, and then
you find a child's doll.
and there's a creepy dog that always follows you.
Yeah, I'm not on
You grab all the materials, like the big pieces of wood, and you kind of like lumber them over your shoulder, and as you go to turn, you just like staring at you.
Did I do my magic trick for her earlier?
Yes.
Hey there. How you doing?
And walks away.
Okay.
And you're just like, oh, well, all right.
I'm gonna die here.
They're here.
Her head fucking spins around and just
He's
like,
there.
no.
Mostly.
So, you return back to the house and begin to do things and stuff.
I thought that shit
Mr.
back.
Theta,
Yes, sir.
what you doing? Still doing your, you said you busted out something?
Yes, I am. I'm gonna go and dig out my disguise kit.
Mm-hmm.
I assume I've got charcoal or paints or something in there.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna pop open my arm sleeve and watch the dials go and look at them with annoyance. And then I'm gonna try and take time and sketch out parts, as much of this in decent detail under the inside of that as I can.
Sure. Yeah, you begin to just painstakingly go through, and you notice it goes for it's more
Is it
complicated.
a circle?
It's more complicated because the more you begin to kind of trace its pattern, it is circular in nature. However, it's continuous and it keeps going and it keeps getting bigger. And you notice it is painstakingly inscribed on the outside. You follow that, it begins going up the walls. And it's just, and you notice that obviously the deep cuts seem to go through it. And you get the sense that might not, with most magic things, you need the completion. It would interrupt it. And so you start to get like a weird feeling that whatever was happening here has been stopped. So you've seen magic before.
Yeah. So once I get that down, I'm gonna close that up and put in my bits, and I'm gonna look for the vestry. I wanna see if there's a place where the priest was sleeping, or like that little room that you usually have.
The back, yeah. As you turning around towards
vestry.
Yeah, towards the pulpit and the back sort of wall, there doesn't seem to be any like.
Is there anything on the lectern at the pulpit?
You run up and head up to it and look, and you see that there was, at one point, you could see bits of paper. Whatever it is has been just exploded. Whatever he had that was on there is just a mess of loose leaf paper that's been scattered all over the ground. So no, there's nothing left of it.
Okay.
Be like a shredder that exploded.
Yeah.
So no, there's nothing. But turning around, the building itself is a relatively long building, but maybe 20 feet at max. But there is no other adjoining doors, which means the priest most likely lived in town.
Yeah, still. It's kind of weird. Is there a bell tower on this? Bell tower? Steep?
No, it has a steep roof, and that's it.
Huh.
It's really the only thing that delineates it from the surrounding buildings. It has a steeper, sort of arched roof.
Okay. So, notice the destruction went out, split the lectern, right?
Yes.
So can I trace it back and see where it started?
Yeah, working your way backwards from where you saw the scribing, is that the epicenter of the circle is basically like probably about 5 feet from the pulpit right in front.
Okay. What's the floor made of?
Wood.
This wood there?
Mm-hmm.
Not gonna be able to cut out a piece of wood. I could try, but I've cut wood by hand before, and even with a tool for it, it sucks. Okay. I'm gonna pop open the other side, and what's right in the very center there, I want to take as much of that in scale, like to itself, as detailed as I can in the space here. Make it a 1-to-1 scale drawing of whatever that central bit of the symbol is where it is.
Okay. Yeah. You take the time to draw that out.
Yeah.
All right. You return back to the house. Tam is waiting inside with Lucrezia.
I'm reading.
Ka-chunk.
Kashunk?
So
We're gonna attack.
our corpse gonna walk in.
Do we want to go find it?
It's in the woods.
Yeah, we gotta go find it.
Yes.
Well, look, Lou, I was gonna say we just use it to feed these people.
Yeah.
By the time we get back, it's gonna be worthless anyway. Lou. Lou.
We could find more
I'm
on
gonna
the way
read harder.
Exactly.
Read harder. Show the book.
The dad newspaper.
Yeah. I said good tickets.
I'll start trying to set up, just to build something up at this back wall where there's this big asshole. I realize that I don't have any water to make sticky stuff.
You don't have nails either.
I don't have nails.
What are you out there doing? Just looking at things.
Well, I'm trying to rebuild a wall.
You're not getting nails, right?
We could pull them out of the other buildings.
No, that's a fool's game. You burn down a house, and you pull the nails out of the ashes. That's how you get nails.
Do you think that?
No. Not even a little bit.
I'm gonna burn it. Guys, we come in peace.
I suddenly had inspiration.
I mean, I'm fully equipped to do that, and I will not do that. There's no glowy puddles anywhere near us, is there?
No.
Fuck. Well, I'll get about half of this wall done. Realize I can't glue it together.
Do you want to just put the cart on like one end, leaning up against a hole or something?
You gonna go find some water?
No. I'll just set down the rest of my building materials.
How do these people get water?
Couldn't you just, like, do that heck thing that turns stuff to stone?
I thought about it, but most of this is already brick, so.
Yeah, what all can you do?
All kinds of stuff.
Like what?
Well, I can spit fire. I can breathe underwater. I can poison stuff. I can
Actually, most people can poison things.
I can hear really, really well.
Can you hear really well right now? Like, is this stuff going? Like, can you do it all the time?
Yeah, most of the time.
So you
This
can-
fire thing I can't. That's a first.
For now.
Huh? Can I do it now?
Can you hear really well right now?
Yeah. I just gotta focus on it.
Oh.
I want to do keen hearing.
Keen hearing. Nailed it.
Swing.
There's,
On the other side of town, you hear a woman giving
How did
birth.
you get that keen hearing?
Oh,
Get what?
It's a sad
How did you?
sound.
This is out of character. How did you get the keen hearing?
Oh.
From what?
When I started, I get 6 to start, and
Oh, wow.
the DM rolls at random.
Oh, I thought it was from like
Oh.
something you.
So it could have been a fucking
Does
I
he
could
get like
have
dog ears?
had like Tyrannosaurus bite strength.
We killed it, right?
Someday.
What have I gleaned anything from my readings?
you get the sense that it's the daily musings of
Bored housewife.
probably the woman of the household as they set up, but she seems to have been here since the beginning of the town's creation. They were one of the few. Her husband had been gone for 6 months, and then she and her 4 children, came with a caravan of people. And when they arrived, they found the town was, basically new. It was construction workers and the blacksmith. There's mason workers, and they were building the town. And so when she first arrived, she got settled into her new home that had been recently built. She was thrilled because it was massive. It was much bigger than anything in the city that they had. Then she talks about how their daily lives were relatively uneventful and how pretty soon she began to miss the city and the hustle and bustle and the sort of culture that didn't seem to exist out here. Every night you just sit and stare at the woods.
Started sleeping around.
Oh my god, this isn't one of those kind of books.
You don't know that.
I do by reading it.
She talks about mostly that for a long time. How just of what happened throughout the day. Oh, you know, the one of the children tripped, skin to knee type things. The standard stuff that you'd
Malcolm
expect.
broke his arm again.
However, as you keep reading, there are moments when she mentions going to church. And you kind of take a look at him because people aren't allowed, now people don't go towards the church. But she talks about how it's a church to the goddess of light, Altea, and that it has been a sort of central focal point. The father came down from the mountains. He was like a wanderer. He set up shop. He began to do sermons, and then the focus turns a little bit fanatical. From her point of view, yes. As they talk about the appearance of a child of God.
Oh, fuck.
Literally, she's talking about a child from the goddess Altea herself that appears in the town in a glorious mote of light that descends from the heavens, which really turns the Scrawlings from regular housewife to fanatical worshiper. It begins to change focus towards, this child is amazing. We've been blessed. We're being watched out for. How crops grow faster. How it seems like you could, cut down a tree and the next day it'll be already starting to sprout a new one in its place. How life here in the Barren has become marvelous and wonderful. And then it kind of ends. It's like she stopped updating it.
So that priest wasn't here when the town was here. He came in after?
Correct.
So that was like a new event to her or whatever?
Does that kid like to stare a lot? Does that little girl like to stare a lot?
She specifically said it was a boy. It was a young boy.
Young man.
Can you tell the difference between human kids? I can't.
Yes.
No,
Well,
that happens all the time at work.
Sometimes.
So I'll just be like, hey, Ben.
Theta has a hard time telling adults apart.
In real life, though, does Ben have a hard time telling?
I mean, I work in the liberal arts wing of a college, so yes.
Touche.
So yeah, that is what you glean from the book.
Okay.
But ultimately, it does end. It doesn't end in any way that's dramatic. It's like she stopped
journaling.
Stopped journaling.
Try spit.
There's not like a smear of blood and a handprint.
No, not like screaming.
Or all capital letters.
Yeah.
The God has accepted me into.
Damn it! If only I had water gun.
How do they get water here in this town?
It's a good question.
Rain.
You passed a
well
when they were getting water.
I'm not gonna waste their well water.
Well, if they're getting it constantly, it should be fine.
If it's a well.
Contaminated like everything else here?
If it's contaminated, then you can use it for building.
That's what I'm saying. If it's not, I don't want to waste it.
Go ask somebody. You talked to these people, right?
That's fine. We'll deal with
It's
it.
your project.
Nothing broken yesterday. We'll kill it if it does.
Alright, so how much time do we have before?
So,
Yep.
quick question. She only mentions the good stuff. She doesn't mention it getting weird at all?
No.
Interesting. Did she describe the boy that came down at all, or no? Just it came down.
Motor white.
Yeah.
It's a human. Seems human. She knows it to be divine. She knows that for a fact. Black hair.
Okay, that's
about it. It's like I don't know. She doesn't really have a reason to describe him in detail.
Well, I mean, if it's like.
It's more like and even that passage would be more of like, oh, he has like the most beautiful black hair kind of thing.
Yeah,
and that's it.
what I mean. Okay.
No.
That's like the most
No
striking
mugshot
thing,
description.
Yeah.
Give me some of
pretty
that hard
much.
tech.
Okay.
These rations are awesome.
Too salty.
Love me some rations.
Take them out of your character sheet.
That's it. That is what you glean.
Okay. I'll wait till everybody's take. I'll like shut the book.
Okay.
I guess I'll hold on to it.
Okay.
Back to the inventory.
Mr. Theta, as you finish up your artwork, what are you doing?
I'm gonna take a last look around and see if there's anything that may have escaped my notice or anything out of place in this ruined church that like goes, what's that thing over there? And then if there's not, or even if there is, I'll investigate if I'm out.
Make another investigation. Sure.
Do you guys have the chip chips?
That's not good. 12. I think no, it's not even that. Investigation's way lower. Yeah, 8.
You don't. Nothing new immediately begins to strike you.
I'm gonna go back to the window, take a look, see.
As you go to whip around with your paper and you go stow it, you turn around and there's just that little kid staring at you again.
Oh man, fuck that kid.
And she's like,
Outside the church?
she's like staying like on the street, just kind of like staring at you, just like the glint of the dome. She rolled 2 natural 18s on her perception.
Jesus, that's a little bitch.
Yeah. She's
I'm
staring at you.
gonna walk towards her like this, and then climb over the fence, and then back away and head towards the house.
Okay. You're just like.
You need to pull some Bill Murray shit. No one will ever believe you.
I think I said that last session.
Okay. So you head back to the house. She just kind of stands there and then meanders off again.
Neat.
So you guys gather back up at the house and regroup. And then what is what's the plan? That was
You guys are bad at
easily
this.
the worst.
Oh my god, you
idea
just
ever.
hit the cameras.
It's
not
bad.
worth it for
Sorry,
a
that's all I
card.
can
It's
do.
really not that important. So in the future,
Don't
not
hit the
do that again.
I
cameras.
didn't mean to hit the camera.
thank you.
I'm
So
gonna die.
you regroup.
Also, down. Go that way.
Regroup. What are you guys doing?
Set my stuff down. Giving up. Walking into the house at large. All right. So the hunt's been canceled. Talked to the matron. Like I said earlier, she seems a little.
I think you told us that.
I did. Seems a little off. I don't know. She seems pleasantly unstarved, given that they had to kill and eat one of their horses.
Do you think she eats people?
Yeah.
50-50.
Or undead?
50-50.
That'd be cool.
She's either protected by whatever's protecting that church or was protecting that church.
Well, there's protected and there's food stores.
Well, the other 50 is that she's super evil and killing and eating stuff like people.
Or she goes out for dinner. Like, she has a teleportation circle and just goes somewhere else.
Right, but she's not
Like-
sharing it.
I know, but I mean,
Probably.
if you had one and it kept your town for whatever reason, like, could you imagine if it just, like, took her to Theridin into, like, a house that she owns and it was in, like, a closet so she would walk out and
Right.
then go downstairs and go to the restaurant or the butcher and just bring it back?
That opens a whole other series of questions. Like, why? Why?
Why not?
I found some chalices.
Chalices?
It's true, I've never understood those wizard types.
Yeah.
Either way,
None of it makes any sense.
tentatively, I imagine if we keep an eye on her, we'll come to some kind of understanding. Did you see anything in the church?
Yeah. It's a lot. The whole church. It's small. Smaller than I thought. Smaller on the inside. Oh, not notably so, just small. Smaller than the church I've been in.
Take my hat off inside.
So it looked like the entire thing was destroyed by an event. Something happened in the church. And in my looking, it destroyed a lot of stuff. It left the lectern at the front the priest would stand at. But it ruined the pews and the walls and the beams at the head. It was very powerful. And there was all this glowy writing on the ground. And so I did like in this shape, like this, and had like things, and I went up onto the walls. I mean, no, I got this. I'll wipe this off later. I don't need to keep it for any reason. Just showing you. If anybody recognizes this, it's magic, and I don't magic.
Nope.
And then this is at the very center of it. So there's this kind of symbology at the center. And, but yeah, it's glowy. It was on the floor. What was weird is, you know how when like, so say that a person, an individual, was around a mage and they had a teleportation circle that took them places, and out of curiosity you cut a line through their teleportation circle and then it ruined everything. You know how that might happen to no one in particular, right? That's magic.
We're all
You can break it.
nodding.
Okay, cool. Okay. Well then nod.
that way.
Well, that happened
Uh-huh.
with the magic stuff.
Right.
So it was interrupted in like several places. There were just gouges through it. It was still glowy, but it looks like whatever it's doing has been interrupted somehow. And I don't know if we need to do more damage to it, or the other side of that is it might be protection, which is what allowed them to establish a village in this type of area. Because, haunted, or whatever you want to call it. And so if that's a thing, then we may need to restore the symbols that are there.
This might be an ancient orc burial ground.
My limited understanding of magic is that if we have crappy situation and a broken magic circle, breaking it more won't necessarily. So
That's what I thought.
If we try to fix it, at the very least something will happen.
But what if it's way worse?
Well, I don't think that the town...
Also, can we fix it?
I need you to make either a history or arcana check, whichever one's better.
I'd like to go with neither, Alex.
Can I do dexterity?
Can I go with a 3, Alex?
Oh.
3. Something about the symbols kind of is like, it looks familiar, but you don't know why.
I don't think the village was always this way. I found this pull out of journal.
Look.
Here. It seems like it was normal at some point, and then I don't know if this triggered it, but in there it talks about like a child from like a priest coming in from mountains, and then a like child from Altea coming down, and so this wasn't always like this. I think after that person came down, then it started to turn. But
Just ends.
Yeah, it just ends. Yeah, not even dramatically. But
I don't think most people get killed while they're writing.
It happens all the time in movies and books.
Arg.
Well, my
Does that happen in your captain book?
It does.
It hurts.
As I was driving it, my understanding is if you have a circle, regardless of how complex it is, even the slightest nick in the circle is enough to disrupt it and to stop it from doing whatever it was designed to do. So if this town is this way and we have a broken circle, fixing it, I feel like would do.
Well, maybe the circle was protecting.
Right.
And when it got cracked,
and that's what I'm driving at.
That's what we're all on the same page.
Is that there's a 50? I feel like there's a better chance that fixing the circle is going to do something positive than negative. But
how do you fix that?
I don't have that answer. I don't.
So, is it a? Do you think it's a possibility? Because none of us are this kind of smart. It just doesn't make any sense.
I can destroy it more.
Well,
I don't think we want
too.
that.
Anybody can destroy
And I only bring that up because.
Well, I mean, I just could run the sword through each one of the low.
Well, don't we want to fix it though?
True.
Don't we want to like?
We don't know yet. And if fixing it causes the apocalypse for this little town, then.
Here's what I'm thinking.
Should we see if that priest is still alive? I don't think.
Hear me out on this. All right, so matron does not want people going in the church.
Yes.
Do you think she broke
Why? Exactly. If she is somehow responsible for the breaking of that circle, stands to reason she wouldn't want people going in and investigating it. For twofold. One, to find out it's broken, and two, to try and fix it.
Well, do we want to investigate her?
Probably our best bet.
I mean, I think you might want to investigate her. I mean, like.
That might be a good idea.
Okay.
To further pursue
If you would like to investigate, I can be back up outside the window. So if she tries to pull a knife on you, I can pull a knife on her.
Do you want to go in there? I don't think you want to. I mean, I think you want to, but I don't think you want to go.
Can't use the same word in opposite
Well, I think you want to go in there to bum, but I don't think that you want to go in there to.
Dude, we're in the middle of actual curse.
I mean, you're a man. I don't know what needs you have. I don't know. I'm just wondering.
That's a very good point. What needs do you have, Mom?
Yeah, what needs does Mom have?
Well, we need to secure a source of.
We need to stop talking about this.
Good food, good water, food for our pets, and more importantly, we need to fix what the problem is here.
Okay.
Because if the corpse brigade is going to take this town over and use it as our base of operations.
Is that what we're doing? Wait.
I always thought it was a distinct possibility.
Absolutely.
What?
I thought that was half the reason we were coming out here. Because I thought we were going to find a guard contingent,
No.
murder them, and then deal with whatever situation we had, and then just take the land that Because I didn't think it was actually cursed, to be completely honest with you. I thought it was a lie.
I really
Yeah,
thought that too.
that's where I was at. But now we're here, and we should.
We
do
are like
something.
gonna stay here? There's like
Maybe,
stores or
but-
anything.
Well, not at the moment.
We'll have our own.
But if we
stores.
bring commerce, that's how you
Sounds
make
like
a
awful
story.
lot of work.
Also, it's
I mean,
really
I'm
hard.
down.
We can dream,
I
can't we?
just wasn't. I didn't know that that's what was happening.
First things first, we fix what the problem is,
Okay,
or we
yes.
try to figure it out.
I agree.
So who's breaking into the Matrons' place?
So I have.
I don't know that we need to break into it.
Should I just let us walk in there?
Or hear me out.
You gonna seduce her?
Yeah.
I don't want to, but I can at least talk to her. She expressed an amount of interest in me, and at the very least,
she's gonna want a mustache ride from this. So.
Why not? You're strapping
It'd
young
be just enough for her. You got like a saddle.
man.
Yeah. It's more. It's a whole thing.
I don't know how old you are, Tam. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't know how old you are.
I'm 31.
Oh shit.
There's a
I'm
knock on the door.
Knock on the door.
I'm gonna get my hammer out.
I'm not
gonna look at you,
Wink.
and I'll go to the door.
Where do you
Okay.
want to go? I'm not dog.
You head over to the door.
I'll wait for Lou to hide somewhere.
Yeah, but you already like ratted me out.
Yeah, but
It's too late
You don't
now.
know that.
Not to everybody.
No, you
that's
told me that.
everybody.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
everybody, just to one.
But
To the matron.
I'm.
You open the door and there's an older looking gentleman, maybe early 50s, and he's kind of standing there. He has weathered features, like a thick looking like wiry sort of facial hair that's mostly brown, but it's got speckles of gray kind of going in it. He is like his hair is kind of longish. It's just been pushed out of the way, and he's kind of standing there in regular peasant clothing, and he's just kind of like staring at you.
Good morning, afternoon, sir. How can I help you?
I think it's perpetual twilight.
Fair enough.
The matron has to see you and your friends.
Ah, all right.
Yes.
All right.
Oh.
Are you gonna escort us, or should we just go?
No. And then he goes and walks.
Wait,
Thanks,
before
sir.
he goes, does he look like everybody else?
Yeah.
He's not like, or he looks, okay.
Looks sad and old.
He has like his hat in his hands, and he just kind of like walks away and puts it on.
Thanks,
And
sir.
then just keeps walking. Waves.
Well, we just received an invitation.
Guess he wants to seduce her.
As a group.
Yes.
Are we gonna seduce her as a group? I've never done this before. How does it work?
Of
Of course I can seduce people. Anyone can seduce. I
But, like,
you can do it.
Can you?
Not gonna
Close
answer
the
that
deal?
one. Gonna skip that one. Lou, everyone.
What?
I don't know what you have going on down there.
Everyone, get your stuff ready.
Oh, okay.
Ouch.
I'm curious though.
Hmm.
No. Just about. I've been thinking about the corpses in the cart that got up and walked away. Why did they walk
Wait.
away instead of just coming in and trying to eat us?
Our corpses walked away?
Yes, the
Oh.
one new we have left walked away.
Well,
Oh.
Got up and went.
if this is
Huh.
an outside party's doing, some manner of necromancy, it may be a call the corpses
Isn't it all necromancy?
to. Well, I mean, they're
Should
short.
we follow those footprints?
Well, they go into the woods.
We'll just see where they go in the woods.
We could.
It's not a bad plan, but there will be footprints tomorrow.
We'll call that plan 2.
Because there's that big thing, and I'm sure that leaves footprints.
There's 2 of them.
But don't they come out
That's
of
worse, but okay.
I don't know if I know
Oh,
this.
there's a big one, and then there's this toad thing. Huge
Do they come out of the
ones.
church or the woods?
Hmm.
I don't know who's following.
They just kind of come out.
Yeah. Well, we didn't, I don't
Yeah.
think we noticed where
Anyway,
they
in
came
any
from.
case, we should go meet her. Everyone, get your stuff together.
I mean, we're dressed
We'll head out.
fancy. I mean, I still got fancy.
Can I get a
No,
rag?
What am I dressed?
Can I get
but
a
we
rag?
will dress to dance.
Oh, I know.
And then I'll step outside and wait on the
Okay.
porch.
Step out and
Take
wait.
my rag and I'm gonna clean off the drawings from the insides of my flaps.
Rupert,
Did anybody else
you
change?
stay here.
I know.
Dress to dance.
Oh my god, my face! Oh my god, the devil face! Oops. Forgot about that.
Some washes off her face. You guys gather up outside and begin heading towards the.
No,
No, I
she
had like
had
a devil.
like.
I made like a pointed like devil beard and like devil mustache and like big devil eyes.
I wasn't gonna say anything about.
Having a very serious conversation, and she's dressed like an asshole. That's good.
Coming out of
So-
her
And
squeaky
you look like,
teenager
what is
voice.
it, him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys gather up outside and you begin walking towards the what is the biggest house in the area? Kind of like far back.
Sights to show you.
And as you begin walking through, you notice that a couple people kind of like watch you go, and you guys make perception checks, please.
Sure.
Is that your 20 again? What?
Oh, great.
The dark magic is with me. Alright.
13.
13.
14. 4.
So as you're all kind of like, talking and like going back and forth and kind of giving Lucrezia shit about having a weird that she's recently cleaned off. You're all kind of just chatting as you walk through, and you're the only one that really notices that a couple people on the in the town that are like watching you go. A couple of them just kind of like put their heads down and they like walk away as you begin heading towards. You also seem to see that the one of the hunters, he's like watching, and he's just like,
Hey, that's not good. That's not good. Hey, guys.
Keep going.
What, your beard?
I rushed it off. And it was a great beard.
What's not good?
People like they're acting funny. Like we're gonna go to the gallows or something.
Oh, you think they know I went to the church? Should I lie about
I
that?
don't know. Well, they know we're heading. Oh yeah, don't tell. Do you have to lie about that? Lie about that.
Okay.
But why?
Why did that? Yeah.
He knows.
Far off a dog calls.
Church.
Don't write it. No.
Okay. What are you guys
Write
doing?
it down. It still it makes the lie more known.
Hold on. No.
Anyway, just like point that out to people.
Okay. You guys continue going.
So I'm going into a trap.
Mm-hmm.
Into a tarp.
Maybe people don't come out when we go to see her.
It's a tarp.
Why would you tell us that?
No. So you guys cross through the beaten path down the center and begin heading. There's a large clearing. The two sides of the road open up into houses on either side. You pass by the house on the right hand side that was caved in by the large creature, and you pass by the well sort of like slightly further in down past that, where you see a couple people gathering water and like belaboredly pulling it up. And even from this distance, you can tell that it's kind of like an off color, almost like a lightish sort of like teal or greenish color that seems to sheen off the water as they like lumber it out of the well, and they begin walking away with their buckets, avoiding you and avoiding eye contact.
Looks like I'm gonna be boiling my own urine later.
But as you begin to approach, you've seen the house before. It sits on stilts that are have like a decent enough walkway that you could actually probably like crawl on all fours underneath and go underneath the house. But then the house stands above. It's a main structure that seems to have a long left-hand side, and you get the sense that it might have been built for a different purpose other than a house initially, because it kind of bears a resemblance to either like a blacksmithy or something of that. Like it looks like it probably was used for something else, maybe like a warehouse or something, which describes its massive size. But as you begin to walk forward, you crest up the stairs. As you approach the doors, just kind of like the light breeze is kind of knocking it against. It doesn't seem to be closed at all. You knock on the door, and from further in, very quietly, with your hearing, you can hear, "Come in."
You still have your hearing activated?
It's always
You
activated.
said what?
No, I didn't. All the time.
So you guys enter in, and the inside of this house is Spartan, is the best you can seem to describe it. There seem to be stains on the walls almost where there was once probably paintings
Oh.
or pictures.
What's that?
So like the clean spots?
Yeah.
As people start filtering in, whatever order we are, I will whisper to each of them some kind of instruction. Make sure you stay like 10 feet away from me. They'd just try to get ready in case you need to get to a spot where you can stab the fuck out of her. Yeah, just prepping everybody, giving.
I know how this works.
Yeah, he knows. Just kind of giving
He
like,
knows.
battle directions.
Okay.
Lou, back me up. Like that kind of stuff.
Okay. So entering inside, as soon as you walk in the front entryway, you notice that there are doors, archways to the right and left. Both seem to host very large and very nice seating rooms. On the right and the left, both again though, all of the pictures seem to have been taken off the walls.
Does anybody here good at magic at all?
No.
That's what makes this.
I want
fun.
to see if there's magic. I don't know how to please.
You want to look for
You
glowing
try, and it doesn't
sparkles?
work.
Yeah.
No, try.
There's nothing to roll.
Yeah, no, it's perfect.
Perception, it's a natural 20!
Yeah, you realize you know nothing
I
about
know.
magic.
So,
I'm
as
looking
you...
real hard!
You do. You look real hard. As you look, you notice that the on the right-hand side there seems to be a chimney in the right-hand sitting room, and on the left-hand sitting room it just seems to be all kind of like centered around this very nice large window that you could see from the front, almost like a nice like viewing. We look out the
Like a bay window.
we look out on the lawn. But from further in you can hear a I'm down here, and you continue in further into the house. You pass a couple more doors on the right and the left-hand side, and as you kind of go in further, you notice that there seems to be like a warmth coming from somewhere further in. And the house itself is mostly cold. The chimney that you passed in the first room seemed to have been unused for quite some time. And as you kind of make your way through the creaky floorboards, you find yourself taking a right where there's a light spilling out from one of the rooms, and everything else has been turned off or is not in use. There's dust everywhere. All surfaces seem to be kind of like unused. She probably doesn't have a use for most of the stuff here. I mean, you do remember that they said that she just took that place, so it wasn't really like.
Was she mentioned in the journal? Like a lady from the town? No.
So as you enter in, you see a familiar face. You see that thick sort of hair that's all kind of down. You see that she seems to be wearing like multiple layers, almost like of various styles of clothing is the best way to describe them. Like starting the inner layer being almost like peasantin sort of, and then as it goes out, and she like wraps herself up in this like bundle
like
of
a hobo.
Yeah. But the outermost coat seems to be like a very nice, like almost like lordly type coat. Old in appearance, and you can't really tell at first, but as you kind of get a better look, there's like moth eaten on the bottom a little bit. And she just kind of like bundles up, and she seems to be sitting by in a large chair by a fire. And as you enter in, it's a large hall, dining hall, where there's a long table. She doesn't even seem to be like sitting at the table. She's pulled one of the chairs out by the fireplace, and she's kind of sitting there. There's a couple of plates set out for you guys, and she's kind of like, come in. She stands up, and you notice now that she's pretty tall. She stands about 6'1", and she's not a
That puts her taller than everybody in this.
She's not a frail-looking person. Yeah, you can tell, yeah. Because her hair is large, so you can't tell if she has any like points or anything.
I can't tell you.
Correct.
She's humanoid.
She looks human.
Okay.
So she could be half-elf, human.
Yeah.
She'd be fucking half-orc.
How's her face? Is it like sunken in, or does it
Healthy?
look full?
Looks healthy-ish. It doesn't look like she's eaten recently, but her natural sort of physicality kind of lends itself to not being so obvious when because she's like large, seemingly type of like big strong build on her, and as she kind of pulls the kind of like coat together, she's like, please have a seat.
Well, I won't greet her. Madam Irene, this is my traveling compatriots.
I'll go right over and take a seat.
Okay, as you take a seat, she kind of looks over all of you. She nods. She looks at you.
Wink.
And then she looks at you. And then, okay. She just seems like cursory glance down the line. At which point she pulls the seat at the head of the table out as you guys kind of like sit down the line. And then she sits down too, and she's like, so, how are you enjoying Barron?
It's good. Did some exploring. Tried to work on patching up one of the walls at the place we're staying, but I realized I have no mud. So it will be considerably harder.
And who are your friends here?
Hello.
I'm eating, is that your name?
Lucrezia?
Hi, eating.
Hi, good.
She introduces herself. I am Irena.
Irena?
Haldane.
Huh?
That's my name.
What is it?
Irena Haldane.
Haldane?
Mm-hmm. I've been here for 15-ish years, 13 years. She like kind of seems to be like remembering. And this is my home. So I welcome you.
Does she look at all like
The Duke?
Yeah, the Duke.
Make an investigation check. Actually, make a perception check. Sorry, you're gonna be perceiving.
Receiver
Oh
cheese.
no,
Nice.
they've run out. All right. Perception?
Mm-hmm.
10.
10. It's
Fuck me. Dang,
hard to
that's
tell.
one.
They're both large, but you also remember that the Duke was at one point like a scrawny
Yeah, but do they have
beanpole.
like the same color eyes or anything?
No, they do not.
Interesting.
Where did you you said you've been here for about 15 years. Where did you move from?
She kind of like. I moved from the mountains to the south. That's where I came
South.
from. I was wandering before I came here.
And how did you come here? Were you by yourself? Were you with companions?
I was by myself.
I will actively abstain from eating. I'm not gonna make it noticeable.
There's nothing on the plates.
Yeah.
Well,
As you kind of like look, you're like.
You go air.
This is my favorite.
She survives purely on imagination food.
I mean,
Anyway.
technically,
Um.
water.
So what brings you you all into the center?
Well, we
Fishing?
we
No.
heard about this area and
Us
we wanted
spooning something up.
to look in to see what was there. We couldn't find a lot of information on it in Batella. So we came from there. We were not expecting this. We were expecting a city, like a more lively but hidden city, and we were very curious about it. We wanted to know what was crouched behind these mountains in this pass, and it's peculiar.
Most peculiar.
Also, the nights are crazy.
Yes, they are.
I've never seen anything like those.
Was
And I'm
it,
from a different dimension.
was it like this when you came here? Was it crazy? Quote unquote? Oh.
Yes.
It was crazy like that when you came here?
Mm-hmm.
I assume that's what they mean by the curse lands. That it does that.
Sure.
They call it the curse lands over here.
I've never heard it by that name when I came through.
Were you on your way to somewhere else, or were you specifically coming here?
I was wandering. I like the outside
In my brain.
world.
The map that I looked at in Batella, did it have a date written on it? No? Okay.
No.
That's fine.
But she's just staring.
Does anything look off about her?
Like what?
Oh no! Yeah,
Does she look like a hag?
Yeah.
I want to know if she was wearing like an illusion because she looks a lot healthier than the other
She
people.
should.
Make an investigation check.
So I heard that while he's doing that, we heard from the village elder that there's something wrong with the church.
Mm-hmm.
It's
solid 8.
Solid
Nice.
8. There's nothing you can. You're looking at her and she's kind of like as you're asking, she kind of like notices, and then she's like.
Oh.
She gives you a little wink, and then goes back to
It's
looking.
like those chops, though. They make it
We
so
heard
much
there was something
better.
wrong with the church. It looked like
That's
it was
what he
in
had?
quite a state of disrepair.
Well, the church is a bad place. It's where this bad comes from, and when it's disturbed, usually the creatures in the night are much more active when it's trespassed upon.
Do you think maybe like demolishing it might help?
We fear to touch it. We don't want to. The creatures avoid it, which I think is a good sign that it's something that shouldn't be trifled with. And when every time people trifle with it, the creatures in the night become frenzied, and usually means that we lose a good number of citizens.
Can I insight that?
Go ahead.
Do I believe?
Oh, it's lower. What's happening?
All that good luck right now.
8. Why?
She is lying through her
I know that was my 8.
Yes. You get the
Well,
sense that everything she is saying is a lie.
Oh wow.
I'm gonna try to
But the rest
make
of you
eye
are-
contact with one of you.
Sure.
At which point she's looking around like
I'm
we
just
lose many
staring
people.
at her, just blankly.
Well, I have to wonder that we're new in town. Did you invite us into your home just for a chat, or did you have something you wanted to ask us?
Oh yeah, you invited us.
It was like 5 minutes ago.
There's a lot going on up here, okay?
I just wanted to get to know you better. She's looking at you. She's like, I just wanted to get to know you better.
Oh. Well.
Maybe even your friend can stay.
His name is Ma.
Yes.
We can go. I have things I can do. What?
What?
You know, it's nice being in this building instead. It's pretty warm in here. I think I'm gonna. Pretty cozy.
It is actively cold in here.
No, this is warmer than the rest of the house.
Yeah, this room is
This room.
warmer. The fire is roaring, and it's kind of like kicking in that nice heat. The rest of the house is pretty chilly.
Yeah, it's, I don't know.
Take
Go
one
outside,
away.
it's a little cold.
I noticed that there used to be a lot of pictures here. Were they your pictures?
No, the previous owner has weird tastes in paintings and images. So
Familiar with that in most of the rooms I go into.
I just got tired of looking at them after a while. I just took them all down.
Familiar with that in most of the rooms I go into.
None of these pictures are.
Who owned it previously? Because this house looks weird. It doesn't look like a normal house.
Oh God, I have no idea.
No.
No, I've looked through many times and haven't found any remnants of well, besides clothing. I haven't really found many remnants of the previous owners other than their gaudy tastes in pictures and strange furniture.
Why was there pictures in like a...
It's not pictures, it's like paintings.
Yeah, on the walls. all over
Probably
the
like
place.
a bunch of goats being sacrificed. That type of thing.
Or nice religious
There were
stuff.
pictures of rainbows and children
Yeah.
playing in a field, and she's like, ugh.
Yeah, ugh. Can't deal with this.
Oh, this one has the eyes out.
I did have a question. I haven't had a chance to talk to anyone else. Do you know if they used to farm here? Do you know if there's farmland around that they used to use?
They said about crops growing better, so there was some problem.
Are you telling me this right now? From this woman's
Yes.
mouth? Okay.
Sorry.
As you're saying that, she's like, yes, I'm assuming so.
Oh, I was just. I haven't had a chance to really explore the town. I was mostly just checking out the other buildings.
Oh, well, if you give me one moment, let me go ahead and get us some food. And she gets up and goes walks
I don't
around.
require any.
She just keeps going.
When she
Food
leaves,
seems
after
stop.
like,
Okay.
I would like to quietly tell them.
So
She is lying.
I would like to insight her.
Okay, go ahead.
Especially about the church. She doesn't want
So should I cut a hole beneath my feet and
That's the best number I could have rolled.
That's what I rolled last time for my insight on her.
Insight is +1, so that's a 4.
What do I do?
Yeah, you don't do anything.
Okay.
Yeah, she seems to be telling the truth. There's no
Okay.
lies to that.
I don't
That
know.
you-
I know that women have this weird thing together.
She believes, at least, you are convinced that she thinks that's the truth.
Well, you know people better than I know people. Words come out.
to escape?
Wait, are you trying to hole in her house?
What?
You're like,
Yeah, plan B.
so wait, why would she?
Sorry, I just realized that the thing's on stilts.
Yeah.
I kind of want to cut a hole.
And just go down.
You'll not catch me.
Avast me, hearties! And then I'm out.
Sink down
So she
one
doesn't
foot.
want to see
Go.
the church.
Oh, and then crouch.
Yeah.
Well, 18 inches.
But like, if we're thinking it's a protecting thing, and she's the one like letting this chaos because she doesn't want us near the church, because that'll fix this place.
Well, that's one of the reasons I was asking if she wanted us to destroy it to see if she was actively interested in that.
Oh man, I should have looked into.
She wasn't.
Well, what's the church to?
I'll tell you.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Well, at the very least, it could just be a local superstition, or
What?
at the very least, something she tells new people to. Look, I'm already starting at this. She's probably the cause of this, but I want something a little bit more concrete than she's lying about not wanting us to go to the church. Her reason
Okay,
might be different.
That's a strike. I feel like not her favor.
Well, yeah, I want to. Before we go any further, I want to listen to see if she's coming back yet.
Let's see what she's doing back there.
Make a perception check.
Fucking finally. 18.
You hear meat being cut and placed on a plate. You can hear like the scraping of utensils against like porcelain.
I'm going to lie and say that I'm not hungry, but if she wants to stay and get to know us better, maybe you two should
Yeah, I
slip
said we
out.
fuck off.
and search.
Is this room central to the house, or is it along an exterior wall?
It's more central than it's only like there's probably about 2 rooms beyond you on either side.
No, that is suspicious. Don't you know how to case a joint? Gosh, urchins teach me. Who did you have? Sorry, this isn't in character at all. I would like to look around and see the nearest place I could get to this room from the exterior.
That's a good idea.
Then
If I exited the house and I wanted to bust in and rush to this place,
Action style.
the best way to do that.
Okay. Well, you have to leave first, right? To go look.
Yeah, but
I mean, from the interior, you can tell that you can get outside from here.
Okay.
You can jump out the window.
I think that's what
You could-
There's a window to this room?
Yes, but there's
Beautiful.
on either end of it, there's more room, so it's not necessarily in the caddy corner.
Gotcha.
There's more.
I see.
shit
As long as there's exterior access to this room, even if I have to break a window to do it. That's fine.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So that's what I'm thinking. She wants to get to know us better. You guys just search the house.
Is there-
Keep her distracted.
Is there a candle on the
Do you
table?
want us to leave?
Yes, there's a couple of them. Not all of them are lit though.
That's
So
perfect.
do you
I
want us
want
to-
one that's
do you
not
want us to
lit.
pretend to leave the house?
And I'm going to grab it. I'm going to go over to the nearest window. And so if you have the... Beautiful.
Be careful.
If you have the window here, and it's got, I assume it has the split panes, because it's what they do, right? Next to one side of the pane, I'm going to grab the candle and I'm just going to drag a line of wax. Not a real visible one, but, you know, just a little like that. I'm going to put the candle back.
Okay. Yeah.
And then,
She seems
say
to
we
be
take our
returning.
leave. Say you're not hungry or a vegetarian or something.
I'm not hungry. I already ate.
Okay. She returns, and as she does, she's carrying 2 plates, and she sets one down in front of you, sets one down in front of you, and then she walks back.
What?
You can get a plate.
Oh, I was.
She goes back, and then she comes
Oh.
back in, and she drops a plate. Drops the plate.
What the nonsense?
On the plate seems to be like
Sorry,
a
I thought she
steak
just-
of some sort.
I thought she just came in and handed them plates and sat down and
To
like,
be fair, I thought
Does
that
this
too
look like
a second.
one of the cuts I did earlier in the day?
No.
Okay.
how fresh does this meat look?
What does the meat look like?
It looks like seared steak.
But like, is there any way to tell what kind of meat I'm cooking?
Not without shoving it in your mouth. It is a seared color. It looks like it's been cooked. It doesn't. It seems to have been rested, so it's been chilling.
I'm poking it to try to pick it out.
It seems to be like a medium rare type.
What kind of
Steak.
meat is this?
You ask her?
Yeah.
It's meat from the forest. Got it hunting.
Oh, you know, I've seen a lot of
You
stuff
hunt?
out there. I don't-
Yes.
You hunt with a bow or you hunt
You hunt?
with zap or
My hands.
tackle them?
Sometimes,
Oh,
if I need to.
that must be quick.
She wants to put those hands.
That's useful.
It's fairly impressive.
Well, while I appreciate this, I don't require meat
Yeah.
to sustain myself,
I don't
so I
wanna
think you should save this or apportion it to someone else because it's wasted on me.
Okay.
There's no reason for me to take your food.
It's true.
Uh,
It means no disrespect. He just does not eat.
I don't eat, I don't breathe. We're good. Thank you, though. This is a lovely gesture. It looks like it's well cooked. I don't know how to well cook or cook a steak.
Regale her, actually. As a matter of fact, on the topic of him not breathing, there was a time when we were investigating this underground tunnel.
And then it wasn't
Don't do
underground.
it! Why'd you do that? Did you do that?
Yeah.
Take a bite.
Yeah.
It tastes strange as you bite into it and begin to chew on it. It tastes like a steak, but it has like a weird, like acidic sort of taste to it.
It's
And
probably just
it's
a rare
very,
animal.
it's
called
very
steak.
gamey and like stretchy. And I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
No.
At advantage.
See? Advantage.
I have advantage against poison.
I know.
Natural 20.
Natural 20.
Okay.
You're going to take half damage, sir, and you're not
That's a lot of dice.
It's 13 halved to 6. 6 points of poison damage as you eat into it. And as you push the plate back to her, she kind of like slides it in front of her and then takes a big bite out of it. And sets it down and kind of like wipes her face with her sleeve a little bit.
Well, did you want to go before nightfall? Go out and get some stuff done in town while she gets to know these guys?
Yeah, no, I have a bag I need to look into at home, and I was also going to look about perhaps boarding up the hole in the house they're staying in.
Yeah. I'll
Yes.
help you with that.
Okay. Yep, I think we're going to take our leave. We want to shore up before more of those things come back. At least a little better than it was. We have a gaping hole in the place we're staying. It was the best we could find at the time. I mean, I'm sure you know.
I mean, it is. I mean, are you sure you want to leave? It's getting dark soon.
Yeah, I think that's probably
How
best then.
soon?
Within a couple minutes. Should
Oh,
be going.
minutes? Yeah,
Sundown.
I think we'll be fine again.
Well, if that's the case, no, minutes.
Well, before you leave, I'm
I don't
sorry
want to cross
say.
town in it. Did you see the things that were walking around?
No, no.
Because I didn't. I just heard
Can
those.
I-
It was bad.
I whispered to him, don't eat it. It's
Can I tell if that's a lie? If it really is gonna get dark.
You can try to insight her again. Yeah.
Okay, that was there. Oh, good, the 19.
Yeah.
19 plus 5?
With
24.
all of your running around for the day, you well lost track of what.
Yeah.
When we
That's
should
what I
begin.
She's lying.
Well, if that's the case,
Before you leave, however, we do need to discuss the small matter of the Modron going into the church.
Mm-hmm.
This is obviously very, very
You
bad
went into the
news.
church?
Before we address that, if I may, when we by all means should address it, could you regale me at what point we told you it was a Modron?
Her smile turns and she's just like, I've seen them before.
Where?
Have you now?
I have seen them before.
Where?
In my home.
Where's your home?
Satan.
I just want to get to know you better.
not in character. I would like to very quietly and slowly prep 2 daggers.
Okay, you begin to kind of just slide your hands.
Gently. I mean, I imagine my hands are mostly in my lap, so they're going from my lap to my hips.
And it just. At which point she just kind of like looks at you. She's like, her smile's kind of like crooked on one side, just this like small little grin.
Where'd you come from? Where's your home? Can you see Modron?
It's far away from here.
I'm from far away from here.
Yeah.
Me too.
That's what you just said.
She's secretly a Modron.
So, perhaps all cards on the table. He's from a very different place than this.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the things he tells me are a little bit scary. Are you from the same place?
No.
No.
Now we find ourselves at a strange impasse because my instinct is to attack you. But I don't want to do that because I have 2 very fine male specimens here. And I don't very much get to see those types of things.
How far away is she from me?
You're probably about catty corner. You're probably about as far as I am.
About here.
Yeah, like this is.
So what?
6-7 feet.
Reasonable attacking distance.
And I don't much get visitors. So I'm a little disappointed that the first 4 in so long have decided to cross my path. But I'd very much like for you to stay.
No, I'm kidding.
Perhaps one of you 2 can entertain me.
I'm gonna shoot
And I
her
will.
with my gun now.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
That is where we're taking a break. That is where we're gonna take our break. Yes.
It's done. It's
So we're gonna
done.
go down for a
It's
couple
said,
seconds.
it's
When we
done.
come back up, that is happening. We will be right back. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. I hope you're having fun. Welcome to Halloween special.
I'm gonna disappear for a minute. That is the
All of my plans. Every time I have a plan.
I'm really sorry, but I figured if she may not let me get my hand. dinner party, just chilling. Oh, that's
This
nice.
is why we don't
Fuck.
get invited to
Yeah, that's why
We don't get invited to dinner parties. So, let's just run through a series of events.
Yeah.
So the party continued their investigation. They had looked into the church. Everyone regrouped and talked about it. Then you're invited to a nice dinner.
Nice.
Nice dinner with the matron.
Given the locale.
She was feeling relatively generous.
Really?
Fed you guys some steaks.
You're gonna
And then Lucrezia shot her in the face.
Somewhere, maybe not the face.
If I do
You said the face.
No, I just said shot her. I shoot her with my gun. That's all I got out.
You're within 5 feet, so make a ranged attack
That's what I was
roll
wondering.
at disadvantage.
Yep. I'll do the same number.
Oh my god, yeah. She rolled 4 of the same
Okay.
number, technically.
So it's my dex and proficiency, right?
Correct.
19?
19. Go ahead and roll
that's
damage.
Not right. That's way higher. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's way higher.
Yeah.
Go ahead
Yeah,
and
19,
roll
sorry.
damage.
Yeah, 19,
I
right?
don't know what I did with my math. Alright. I haven't used this in a while. Okay, here. Oh, okay. Okay. Let me see. Do I add my dex to it?
Correct.
Okay, because I haven't used it in a while. So that's 10 damage, and then I'm going to use the Kensai shot to add another d4. So that's 4 damage on top.
Oh,
Okay, 14.
Taya, no.
14 total?
Yeah, 14 total.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And I would like to. Oh no, don't worry. That's my bonus action. That's it.
And then sneak attack. I know.
No.
Saints of Altair, no.
So as you're all sitting there talking, and she's lamenting a bit about not
Monologuing
having.
like a villain does, you mean?
Yeah, and
sitting there like
as she's looking at you, you just see a gun leveled, and you just hear click, and just shoots her right in the side of the head. There's this and then the splinter of wood as it hits the other side of the room, and the matron hits.
Oh fuck.
And then just like blood begins.
Oh no! I
Pouring
didn't
out.
think you
Fuck, Lou!
Well,
I didn't think you'd kill her!
Oh my god. Oh god.
You shot her in
sweet
the face
god.
with a gun. That kills people.
I didn't think you'd
Oh, fuck.
I have a question.
What is your armor class?
Should we tie up the
17.
corpse?
Okay.
Yes. Let's. Everybody get ready. It's probably gonna either get.
As you're all talking, her hand shoots out and just grabs your whole face. I need you to make an athletics or an acrobatics check.
I knew that was gonna happen, Lou!
Fucker, no, you didn't. Alright. So that was acrobatics. 23.
23.
I'll shoot up from the table. Get ready to rumble.
Not enough. As you go, you see the hand like coming up, and you instinctively start to pull back. It latches onto you with full force, and the nails dig into the back of you as her hand begins to swell, becoming bulbous and fat. Her skin begins to stretch and get bigger as the arm works its way down. Her mouth and her throat begins to become jowls, and she just starts pulsing and getting bigger and bigger. Her skin begins to turn this sickly shade of blue. Her hair begins to fall out in clumps. And as it does, her head snaps up, massive, almost like frog-like maw of teeth, just all in the front, and she eats Lucrezia in a single bite.
Like bites my face or like swallows me whole?
She swallows you whole.
Oh, okay, cool.
As she shoves the whole body into her mouth, her arm traces with it and just pushes Lucrezia's entire body inside of her mouth.
Oh, goodness.
At which point the teeth close and they curl into this massive
Am I
grin.
dead?
I need everyone to roll initiative.
You and me?
Yes, and I need you as well.
Fuck. I wasn't ready.
17. Thank you.
17.
Here we go.
You're gonna be so mad at me for a second. I could see the anger. I was gonna be mad too, honestly, because I'm like, well.
If it was just a normal person.
Yeah.
I was
You just
really,
black somebody
I
in the
was
head.
really hoping it was just a normal fuck and we
What?
completely misread the
Because I mean, it
situation.
would.
25,
Because
20.
it would be no.
Huh? Oh, 21.
It'd be
Well, you don't
over.
Well, it'd be hilarious too, because
Yes,
it's
21.
not what we expected at all. Just to
Yeah.
watch this woman die, and then like it turns out there's like a haunted painting in the attic that's doing everything, or some bullshit like that. And she was
15
innocent.
to
She was
20.
just a compulsive liar.
No, 15s to 20s?
No.
Oh, B, what's happening?
14.
14.
What's
All
the
right.
sheep's initiative?
14 and 14.
Cute.
Add +1.
Theta?
Charisma.
What is yours?
14.
Oh, my
14 as well?
No,
Wow.
his was not. It's me and Tam are 14.
And Mr. Ma?
8.
8.
I'm the most
Ready
ready
to
I'm
rock
inside
and
a
roll.
person.
Yeah, I mean that kind of wakes you up.
Well, you shot her.
To be
My
fair, we
bad.
did
You're
shoot
I
her
was
first.
still kind of on the fence.
So did she poison the meat then?
Probably not.
It's still maybe. It's unclear.
It's unimportant.
We'll
Also-
find out afterwards.
Yeah.
Also, all demons, devils, fiends of any kind, they're all immune to poison.
Oh, no,
She wouldn't even. It would just taste weird, I guess.
Probably wouldn't even know.
Maybe it's spicy.
Well, it's acidic.
I don't know.
Bank.
Okay.
Bing bong.
Lucrezia, you are considered incapacitated, which means you cannot take actions or reactions.
Oh, that's my
Oh, really?
21. What do I do?
Nothing. At the end of your turn, it is everyone else's turn.
You
Y'all-
digest.
Everyone except for Ma has a
Oh,
14
man.
for their initiative. Everyone else. So, with that being said,
Slowly I'm getting up.
who's doing what? Let me go ahead and draw the map out actually before we get too crazy.
Damn it.
Sure.
It's a square.
It is a square.
Yeah,
can't move at
but
all.
for distance wise,
Well, also
it's
But we
really
also have a
important
table
for
in the
me.
middle.
So don't. It.
I can't move
I-
it all in there?
I am the nitpicker over 5 feet increments here.
Yeah, that's why I want to know.
12 feet.
Am I gonna,
Also,
risk
remember, kids,
suffocating there?
tomorrow, make sure your parents check your candy for razor blades.
And pills now, apparently.
Oh.
No, people aren't wasting pills and candy.
He's like a grandpa.
That's what I think.
I thought that's just
Well, I mean,
too
people
expensive.
also
What's
went and like injected shit with like Advil and shit with needles, so and put back on shelves.
Mm.
So
Or is that an urban legend?
no, we watched a whole thing on it. Like it was in Chicago and like a bunch of people died.
Because I know that's why you can't return cigarettes to a store. You buy cigarettes
Because they're tampered.
because you can tamper with them through the. It's actually not plastic on the outside of cigarettes. Didn't know if you knew that. It's silicone.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah, she can
that layer is silicone.
Yeah,
It's fine. You tear it off and throw it away.
Oh,
But
oh,
on the
I
outside
was
of the
on the
pack.
outside. Okay, there.
No, the outside of the pack. That's not plastic. It's silicone.
Okay.
And people were taking syringes and going like years and years ago,
Yeah.
in like the 70s.
Yeah.
And so they went, well, never taking returns on those again. If you buy them, they're yours. If you leave the store with them, you can't return them.
Yeah, the Tylenol thing was like unsolved too. I never figured out who was doing
I
it.
mean, that's
Who's doing what?
Max and I.
I'm being incapacitated.
You are being at the
You can
start
go
of the
first.
creature's turn. You take 3d6 necrotic damage.
That sucks.
You can come back as a wizard next time.
No.
9 points of
Fucking
necrotic
cleric.
damage.
We could definitely use that.
You want to go first?
Sure. I'm going to move backwards.
Okay.
You said
I assume that's a door there. Can you tell me what these things in the room are?
Door to the kitchen, and,
And
then
then-
door to the out. This is the way you came out.
Okay. I'm gonna move back towards that door.
This one?
Yes. And when I'm this far, I'm going to chuck a dagger.
Okay, go ahead and make your attack roll, please.
You look so mad. Sorry.
Fuck. That's not
I was like, I
good.
fucked up when I saw your face.
Just gonna let her
It's a
straddle me. You guys can
9
later.
Barely misses, but it misses.
Yes, that would have been
As you go to wing around, you see them kind of like in shock as she's just like gulping down Lucrezia, and you jump out of your chair and just kind of like throw the dagger as you're going. You have a bonus action?
hold on. I need to keep track of these.
You are 0 for 2 on demons. The last one almost cut your ass in half.
I was thinking that. I'm like, I never do well. Like, even when I'm like, yeah,
Um,
23 dodge. Natural 20 death save.
My bonus action, I'm gonna actually take another 10
Wanna
feet of
die.
movement and come out that door and
Doing
move
this
to
then.
hide
Okay.
in that hallway.
Yeah, go ahead and make,
I like short
your
game. You guys
stealth
roll
check,
long game. We have till 10.
That's better. Just stealth?
Yes.
23.
Okay.
We have
Anne
until-
is next.
Alright.
Yours?
I'm going to
You have it.
No, you don't.
just do a full
Did I
round
put
of
it here?
attacks
I
against
think
the
I did.
belly.
I want it.
Okay,
I
so
don't
you
want to. Curious.
jump out of your chair. Both weapons going. Go
He
ahead
is
and
not
make your
Zongat.
attacks.
That was a very Zongat cry.
Yeah.
She's going to attack you back as well.
That one missed. It was 3 plus 6, so 9. So that one
9 misses.
10. Hold on.
Misses.
See if the next one's 11. Oh, no, it's not. The last one is a 25.
That hits. Go ahead and roll damage. She rolled a 21
No.
and a 13.
Okay, I'm gonna use I don't even know if this will
Bonus
work.
action counts as an action, don't it?
Disarming.
Yeah.
But
Fuck.
Technically.
actually, I'm gonna give a maneuver. I'm gonna do a maneuvering attack with this.
Okay.
Yeah. That is a total of 8 damage.
8 damage. Okay.
And Ma, you can move somewhere.
I'm gonna move around and up to her
Okay.
to menace the
Vault the table.
Okay, as your
I'm gonna
reaction, you
bump
move
her.
up.
Menace her about the head and arms.
Okay. So you kind of run in and, I'll say you run along the table, scurry up, and scatter across to get in position. As you see him swing, she just kind of like bats the first couple attacks out of the way, and the third one she misses, and it goes right into her gut. She bleeds out a little bit, but as her skin begins to kind of stretch and become bulbous, and the clothing begins to kind of become suffocating and tight along her, her skin looks almost like she's inflated. She seems like inflated, this long sort of toothy mouth. Bits missing. Her skin is all blue, like this light sort of shade of blue. Her eyes are pitch black in the center. And she just kind of her attack towards you, she just brings her claws up and tries to slash at you twice. The first one hit, so 1 plus 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 points of slashing damage to you, to the first one that hits, and then as you're almost like lifted up off your feet for a minute, she goes to swing again, and you just like scurry back and duck down and just get out of the way. It is now Maw's turn. What are you doing, sir?
I'm gonna cast bites.
Okay, go ahead and make. She needs to make strength saving throw.
No, this is just the one that does 44.
Okay. Oh yeah, the buzzing one.
Yeah, 17 plus 8, which is 25.
Hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
4 and 4 is 12, and 1 is 8,
13.
12, 13.
13 points of damage.
Little bugs biting. Best. I think this is the
Yes.
best roll any of your dice has made thus far.
So you scramble up on the table as your reaction, and as you bring both your hands together, they begin to glow blue, and you just kind of put them up in front of you. She instinctively blocks, expecting something, and then this swarm of like bluish sort of like insects begin just like digging in all over, and she bats away. That is the end of your turn. Top of the round is Lucrezia's turn. You can't do anything. So next up is the top of the round again. You're going to take 3d6 necrotic damage.
6. Stop.
6. That's 18 points of necrotic damage.
That puts you at 10.
Fuck me. This sucks. It sucks so bad. Where's the fucking thing? I see that marker.
Yes, you may.
I'm gonna initiative. And this how it goes.
I'm gonna peek the door,
Uh-huh.
and I'm gonna try throwing a dagger again.
Okay, go ahead and make your attack rolls.
I just have the one attack roll.
You have a bonus action. You can throw another dagger if you have 2.
Do I hit with sneak attack with that one?
Yeah,
You can.
You can only do it once per turn. It doesn't matter which
I didn't
one you
realize.
throw.
So yeah, then we're doing that. All right.
You can also do it as a reaction, as long as it's once per turn.
Oh, that sucks.
Well, that one doesn't hit.
No.
Natural 1.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, okay. I thought it was a 6. At least it's a 9.
9 plus.
16 total.
16 hits. Go ahead and roll damage. So as you go around the corner, you misjudge, and you see the door swing open, and it goes, and then the door closes on you, and then it opens back up, and you're like, throw the second one, comes careening through the air and collides with the side of it. Yep, go ahead and roll damage.
Yeah, give me a second. What is it? D4. Okay, and then 3 of these guys.
The shot heard around the house.
Ooh, Quattro.
Yeah. 18.
18 points of damage.
Yep.
That'll do, Theta.
I forgot. There we go. So as you throw the secondary dagger, this time waiting a bit more patiently, it cascades through the air and stabs right in like her cheekbone. You hear it sink in, and she kind of shrieks as the biting's still happening, and she bats it out and kind of like takes a chunk of her own skin out. It just like goes off. You notice now that the blood that she seems to be secreting doesn't seem to be naturally red. It seems to be almost like this like translucent red, almost like see-through, like amber almost in a way. But she just smacks it out of her face and flies off. She has swelled in size. It is you as well, Mr. Tam.
Alright, I'm gonna do 2 attacks, and then I'm gonna use my bonus action to second wind.
Okay, go ahead and make your attacks.
That is going to be a 14
14 hits.
and a natural 20.
Natural 20, yeah, misses. Yeah. Go ahead and roll.
Alright, I'm gonna do a disarming.
Disarming strike.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make her puke.
I don't know
Her arm
if it'll
falls
make her
Oh, no.
vomit.
Cut her fucking arm off, bro.
You can try. Go ahead and roll your damage.
Sorry.
Who?
Alright, for the disarming strike, she gets to do it's a strength saving throw against 14.
That is a 11, but she has nothing to drop, so it doesn't allow.
That's for
She
hitting us with Lou.
Puke up a...
Yeah, exactly. If you have something
It's
in
worth a
her.
If
So
you were
7
hitting us
for
with
the
you,
first
then
attack.
you'd be disarmed.
And the natural 20 is going to be,
Now a disemboweling strike.
that's going to be a 14.
14
Non-magical.
Okay.
I don't have any slashing magic.
Okay. So you swing in. I just hit my mic. I'm sorry, everybody at home. Hit it with the board. As you swing in this time, her arms are still up in defense, and you just carve through these like thick, sort of meaty slaps. Some of them catching the clothing and just ripping part of it off. She pulls back, kind of like reeling. At which point she's going to return by attacking you, sir, with her first attack. 18 to hit.
Is that a reaction? Or
No,
is it her turn?
It's her turn.
14,
So
14,
then I
and
take-
she rolled a
Yeah.
14.
So then
Yeah.
should I take damage now?
No,
No,
at
no,
the
I
top of
already
your
did.
Oh,
turn.
I thought at the top of her turn.
You take 16 points of slashing damage as the hand claws across, and the second one is going to be at you, Maw.
Shit.
That is a 24 to hit.
Yeah. I didn't even look.
11 points of slashing damage. Her first claw rakes into Tam, and she's like bleeding mostly, and then her second one, she backhands Maw, trying to get him to stop with his magic, and just bats you backwards. That is the end of their turn, so Maw, you're up.
I'm hitting her with my bugs again.
Okay.
Maybe I fucking ain't. Oh man. Oh no. 11.
11 does not hit. This time, as you bring it up, she just kind of like menaces, pulls forward, and pull back.
Oh,
Hey, no. The blue begins to
She picks you out.
Flinching.
2-4 flinching. That is the end. Anything else for your turn? No? That's the end of your turn. Top of the round is the crits. You can't do anything. You're going to take 3d6 necrotic damage.
Finally going unconscious.
Maybe not. A minute.
8 points of necrotic
Oh,
damage.
so fucking
And it is the two
Yep.
of you and her.
I'm gonna open that door up and I'm gonna throw a dagger.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna
Take the one
see if
out
I
the
need to
door,
throw
throw it
another
in.
one.
Nice!
Natural 20?
Yes.
It is.
Boom, boom, baby. Go ahead and throw that.
Double
This
all
is-
those dice.
Yes,
Yeah.
this is what I live for. Not you.
You have enough.
Yeah, I have another one here somewhere. Infamous dice digging.
What dice are you looking for?
Another D4, thank you.
There's one.
What?
Wait.
There's one. Beautiful. Oh, I want this one. Don't roll anything. So let me see what you rolled. It'll be disappointing.
You can do it. I believe in you.
That's not great.
Oh, that's good.
That is 30 points of damage.
30 points of damage.
And it's not even that good of a roll. There are 3 ones on the table.
Okay, so as this time as you push the door open, boom, and you just huck it, and it flies true, just strikes her right in the center of the forehead and sinks all the way to the hilt. You just see it, at which point she just rips it out and shoves it to the ground angrily, but she just stands there. She's bleeding from pretty much everywhere at this point, just being like carved up. Bonus action?
For my bonus action, I'm gonna go. Yeah. I'm gonna pull that dagger out of the door in front of me.
Okay. Alright, just grab that.
I don't have many of these.
You gonna throw it?
No.
Okay, hold on to that. It is Tam. What you doing?
That's a mess
3
of
rounds
dice.
of attack.
Go ahead and make your attacks, and she's gonna do 1 and 1. 1 to each of you, so you get yours and then she'll get hers.
Then I'm gonna do my action surge
Okay,
as well.
go
So
ahead.
I'll do a full 6.
Mess of dice.
First one is natural 20.
Nice.
Second one is
24 to
a
Natural what?
14.
14 hits.
That one does not.
What is your armor class?
18.
18. She misses you.
That
Yeah,
is
she
a
misses
15.
you. 15 hits.
That is a fuck a lot. 22.
Hits.
The last one is a 25.
Hits.
So I got 5.
Well, I was counting.
I know, I
hit,
saw
miss,
that. I saw what you were doing.
Can I
Alright.
see the handbook?
Yes. It's in the stacks.
Alright, this is
At the
gonna
end of
be-
your turn, when you're done with your attacks, you're going to take 10 points of slashing damage from her as well.
Nice, that's a good exchange.
Okay, it's gonna be a lot of math. Thank you. Because I am blowing all of my superiority die
Okay.
for 3 of the attacks.
Okay.
And they're just gonna be all mobility.
I got you, man.
Alright, so first one is that. Oh wait, hold on, I need another 8. There. So that's 7, 4, 3 plus 3.
So 7, 4, 3 plus 3. 17.
10, 14,
Plus 3.
and 17, yeah.
Okay. Why did they leave it to us?
That is gonna be 7 plus 3. It's gonna be 10.
27.
Okay. That's gonna be 8, 6.
Plus 6.
So that's 14
Mhm.
plus 3 is gonna be 17.
44.
Okay, and then this is my
He wanted to one up you.
no, that's all of it.
That's all of it?
For that, so that is
Is that so?
a 4,
Oh.
Okay.
and last one. 7 plus 3 is 10.
58. 58 points of damage. As she bears her claws into you, you just take that moment, you steel yourself, and you just hack. This full combo. Eyes closed, zen moment where you just begin to hack through the monster. And as you do, you begin to kind of lose track for a minute as you're focused, and she just kind of... And then just blood begins to kind of pour out. She falls backwards for a minute, kind of collides with the side. She... And then she just falls to the
I
ground.
don't trust it.
Okay, so I'm gonna hit her with my in the gut with my barbed tail
Okay.
on my turn.
Okay. You make your attack an advantage. She's prone.
Good, because that's not a great one. That's way better. 25.
25 hits.
And that's a D12. 10 damage.
10 damage. As it sinks in, you just bring your hand around and you see this like ethereal sort of barbed tail come out and just right in the top of her head. She seems to be unmoving.
Or top of the head or the stomach?
and
I
try
was aiming
reaching for.
Oh,
I
stomach.
want
Yeah,
to see
you
if maybe I can.
carve into it. You just carve through thick, meaty skin. But as you try to get in through her mouth to grab.
Yeah, I'm just.
Okay. You, as you begin opening up, you see light begin to shine down as this massive tubular type esophagus that makes up.
Yeah.
And as you begin, you see her kind of go, Master, forgive me. And then.
That's impressive. She can do that with her fucking mouthful.
Yeah,
Arms
that's
in it.
in your hands or in there.
Have you ever seen somebody talk around a cigar?
Have you ever
seen
talk
somebody
around
talk
a
around
halfling? A baby?
I'm gonna grab.
I'm gonna go
Blue
help
by
with
her
that
armpits
as
and
well.
start trying to pull her out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold the mouth open.
Yep. I got that.
You guys are both just like,
I'm gonna take arrows and.
prop them open. Okay.
Got
Yeah.
foot on the upper jaw.
He's not hitting me at all because I got 2 hit points.
Lou, are you okay?
While I'm holding it, I'm gonna take a hand. And I'm gonna take another arrow out and put it into her eye. And I'm just gonna push it
Okay.
into her eye with my hand.
Right all the way through.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
You guys managed
I can't do
to.
anything
You managed
with
to
the
pull
owl.
Lou out. As you do, everyone's just kind of like sloshing in this acidic sort of like nastiness. No one takes any damage because she's not alive. And then you rip Lou out. She's just covered in viscera and kind of like
Hey,
almost,
rough.
almost
Lou.
dead.
Hey, Lou.
What?
You ain't gonna do that again, are you?
Yeah.
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 I just didn't expect to get swallowed.
I'm-
You could have seen that.
I mean, anyone. Not necessarily from this situation, but in general. I'm of the opinion we should dismember her.
Alright.
Probably.
Just
I'm
dismember?
just gonna beat
Dismember?
the fuck out of her with
Dismember?
my hammer.
Dismember?
Start wailing
Sit
on her
down.
with my
Get the
hammer.
good one for it.
Lou.
No.
Take
Yeah.
you,
Lou
you
stands up
chill.
angrily and starts
Yeah.
smashing the head into this thing. Just with
Okay.
a hammer.
While she's doing that,
And then I'll sit down.
I'll let
because
that
I'm very
happen.
tired now.
would you take the limbs off?
Yeah.
I'll be back. I would like to go search the house.
Okay. Go ahead and make an investigation check.
Yeah. It's not bad.
And I'm gonna
19? 19.
Cut the limbs off.
Okay, you begin hacking through the limbs. As you're hacking through the limbs, just cutting through the blade, kind of like touching the floor and just cutting through that as well. You begin segmenting pieces off of the creature, whatever it is, and you all begin to hear outside. You begin to hear as
Yeah.
whatever seems to be
Right.
happening outside is becoming more active.
Oh, more active.
You know, I don't understand why anything that is interested in me sexually tries to eat me.
This happened to you before?
Yeah.
So
That is a problem.
you begin cutting through as you're running through the house. Looking around, nothing. There's really nothing out of the ordinary about the home itself. It's actually pretty large, pretty spacious. You do find a couple of doors that you just, when you open up, just dust kicks out that are completely unused. But you do find one that's full of paintings, and they are just like paintings of a fruit, paintings of a vase.
Bad painting of a dog.
Yeah, and she just took them.
Or an
didn't.
axe beak or something.
Yeah,
like
like
in a
she
field.
just didn't want them on the walls. You begin running around, and what was your investigation check?
19.
19. As you begin to run, sort of, you're kind of just running quickly, just trying to move quickly. And then when you hear the voices or the sounds outside, I imagine you kind of and then go a little bit quieter. As the floors here are rather nightingale-esque, as they're a little bit betrayy when they as you walk around in the place. However,
Boots of silent tread.
it's true. As you begin to walk around, you do actually happen to find, which is bizarre because you can't see it from the outside, but there is a tunnel to the basement made of stone that you can't tell from the outside because it's shadowed, but there is just a single column that goes into a downward staircase. As you open it up, just this like hits you, and it's just chilly air, and it's uncomfortable.
Okay. Did I see any chests in any of the rooms?
No. Well, yeah, like chests, like foot
like,
lockers and stuff.
That's
Yes.
all I'm looking. Okay, cool. About how many? 3, 4?
There'd probably be about 4 or 5. Yeah.
Perfect.
Enough
I'll make
of
my way
limbs.
back. Yep.
Yeah, trunks. Yeah.
Head, and then arms, and then a leg.
Alright.
So I come back and I'm like, okay, I found chests. So we should take the parts and lock them into boxes, especially the head. Don't let the head be anywhere useful. Say we leave her a leg here, or maybe on the other side of the room. Make it difficult if she gets up.
Take a leg with us. The rest of them in each one in the chest. Different room.
I don't want to carry her.
Well, that way we know if she's trying to like animate.
Oh, that's not a bad plan though. Yeah, litmus.
Not
also,
in arms. They don't need that shit choking.
No.
Yeah.
Also, what might be of interest to everyone at the table, there's a tunnel to the basement.
Oh, that sex engine.
Yeah. So I think we should go there regardless, because outside gets party time, and if she's in any way or shape or form related to it, then they may come to give her the secret handshake, which we don't know and can't do with her dead limbs. So I say
We can keep one of the hands.
You want to put it out the door and shit? Just the.
no, I'm fine. I can't do her voice.
Which one of these does the? No. There we go.
So.
All right, yeah, we're gonna
Cut her up, separate her into chests.
So who's taking this? Because this is a tree stump.
I'll take the leg.
Okay. Hucking it in there. You're leaving her chest.
We'll
in the
take
main
one
room?
leg with us.
Yeah, leave the torso in the room and move that.
Okay.
While we're doing that, I'm gonna take a second.
Oh, I want to see
I'm
it.
gonna search her.
Okay.
I'm gonna go through her pockets.
Going through her pockets, she doesn't have anything on her. Every layer that she seems to have, you just like pile through each pocket.
Full of tissues.
She doesn't seem to have anything on her. Whatever, like, she's
Nothing?
just a big scary monster.
Don't worry, I got this. It's one of her teeth.
Are we close? Intact,
Oh.
really rich.
Huh? You notice the farther back you go, the more like decrepit and disintegrated. It's almost like she just kept putting more clothes on over her old shitty ones that were like wearing out and dying.
She swelled up, did any of the clothes like rip?
Yeah, they began to rip and stretch, and she looked like she was stuck
looked like
inside
one
it.
of those cylinders of the Pillsbury.
Yeah, splitting out.
Yeah, and then
Fat guy in a little coat.
Yeah. So Foot Locker in the basement. Yeah, Foot Locker's in the basement. There's several, and I'll tell them where they are. Tread carefully. The floors creak quite a bit.
Okay. So you guys gonna head to the basement? Go ahead and make stealth checks, please.
Should have not been worse. I mean, it could have.
What is that? That is a 16, and that is a 12.
That is a 12.
So 17.
17.
18.
18.
21.
21.
10.
As you guys begin moving through the house, led by Theta, he takes you out down the hall, takes a left down that long sort of part of the building, down one of the hallways there, and as you begin to move through, he stops you at a door and he opens it and just get this waft of like cold air.
Does it just smell like anything specific?
No, but it seems to be coming. The air seems to be coming from the basement.
I'm gonna take Balvin off of my harness.
Nice.
Light, please.
And his little mouth goes. It is about that time that you feel a very strange sensation, like something crawling on your skin, but it's not on you; it's inside you. It seems to be kicking up and maneuvering, as there is a faint squeaking sound. Yep.
Are you infested?
Do we hear that or not?
Probably a rusty gear. Let's go downstairs.
But it's just wiggling around in there, trying to maneuver.
Yeah.
It's like that when you get like a taint cramp, you know, right in the weird spot. It hurts. Anyway, he goes downstairs.
Hey, question. Did you ask Belfin about the church? The thing?
Balvin, do you know anything about a church of Altea in the Barrons?
The church was founded years ago by the followers of light.
Followers Light founded it.
Well, I meant the magic circle inside.
Balvin, do you know about any enchantments? Let's walk downstairs a bit.
Yeah.
Do you know about any of the enchantments that may have been placed on, like protective enchantments, or?
No.
Can he see?
No.
I'm like, hey, look at this circle.
He
What's it
cannot
do?
see.
Look at the fuck.
Yeah, I was like,
What?
why do you look like this? Fuck, I wiped it off. Look, you can't see.
Well, if he doesn't know, he doesn't know.
No, it's fine. Keep walking. Balvin, do you know when the Barrons, when the curse lands that surround the Barrons started to exist?
The term cursed land became popular. Oh shit! No, I was gonna say 5 decades ago.
Oh.
So 50 years about so 5 decades ago, the word became synonymous with the area.
Why?
Hey, did we ever think to ask him?
Silent.
He doesn't answer more than 3 questions a day.
Oh,
Yeah.
Didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Nobody ever told me that.
Hey, Theta.
Oh, I found out through.
Question and answers.
Yeah.
Have we ever thought of asking him where the queen is?
He would probably
Or where
be
the
doing
oldest
stuff.
church in the area is, or where
No.
the oldest church.
Son
in
of a
Boston
bitch!
is.
Well, that's okay.
We can ask him
In the
tomorrow.
morning, we can
Well,
ask him.
that church is like 5 decades old, right?
Yeah. This church is 5 decades old. It was founded by the Alteans. Or no, it's not 5 decades old. The church isn't necessarily 5 decades old. The area started to be called Cursed 5 decades ago. Huh.
Magic's amazing.
Also, he only answers
You
3
do
questions a day, which I did not know because up to this point I have not asked him 3 questions.
Well, we've all learned something today.
What was it? Ask him where the oldest church is. Is that what you said?
Well,
I didn't say anything.
Hey, listen.
Has nothing to do with
he
me.
can answer anything.
I wasn't a very good
I know,
student
Of magic?
of anything.
I was told that we were going to the oldest church, and I did not know that this was not the oldest church, or that we needed to know where the oldest church was. So
Things we need to know.
I was being chased by robots.
So you descend into the stairs, down these stone steps into this stone sort of made hallway that just kind of descends deeper and deeper in. They're narrow and close together, and as you begin to kind of step down them, there's no light except for that which is illuminated by Balvin's head, the mouth just emanating this sort of ethereal light down the pathway. And as you slowly begin to make your way down,
adjust my grip from top knot grip to like sex grip from the back, so I can point him a little bit better.
Sex grip. I know what you're talking about.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
You know
what
what
I mean.
As you guys begin to move down, it is a narrow corridor where your numbers count for nothing, and you are led by Theta. So once you crest the bottom, it doesn't like go into an open nothingness. It goes directly into another chamber. And as you walk down and you crest the bottom, you hit the floor, which is kind of covered with this thin layer of like fog or cloud. And as you're standing at the bottom, the air has become suffocatingly cold and dense, like that, like real bitter cold that kind of clings to you on all sides. And further up, as you begin looking around and shining the light, it looks like a normal cellar. At one point, probably even held like wine barrels. They have like still the racks on some of the sides. And then you flip over a spot, the light vanishes, and then you bring it over to the other side, and it comes back up. And as you kind of like sit there for a minute and look at the darkness, there's one spot that is impossibly black.
I imagine this is the place.
Yep.
I'm gonna go check it out.
All right.
I'm gonna turn back towards the opening, just in case I'm not gonna pull out the conch shell.
Okay.
I'm gonna walk towards the darkness with my free hand
I'll
outstretched.
accompany.
On second thought, I'm gonna pull one of my daggers out,
Where's
and
your
I
lantern?
would retrieve my daggers from her over
Yeah.
there.
I assume.
I'm gonna pull one of my dagger. I pull a silver dagger out, the manticore one.
Light a torch
Okay.
and walk over.
Make a
in
wisdom
front of
saving
you.
throw as you approach it.
Yeah. Okay.
Shit, me too, because I'm going to.
Right, because you're trying to like, here, here's a torch, buddy.
Oh my god, yay!
After 20?
Hey, that's not bad. 18.
18?
And that is 21.
21. As you guys approach and you hold out your little dagger to see what the darkness is, there's a moment where it just swells in your mind and all you see is that beautiful spot
Oh yeah.
of pure darkness. And as you do, you begin to walk towards it, and then you get this strange sensation that it wants you to come closer. It wants you to come to it, which immediately causes you to whoop.
I don't like that spot.
I mean, I think I like it too much.
Yeah.
I think it'll eat us.
I'm gonna chuck the lit torch at it.
You throw it at it,
It's just kind of like,
like trying to land it in front or like hit it
In.
with it. In it,
in it. If,
you
if
kind of like
you can't go
you
through it.
throw it and it hits something. It makes no sound. It just and the light's gone.
Just
There's
consumes it.
No torch, nothing.
Oh no.
And there's a brief little where you feel like it's moving, but you can't tell. It's like a hole has been cut out of anything, everything. It is impossibly dark.
Oh, rope. You have rope?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Rope. Here, hold him.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna pull out my disguise kit. I'm gonna get a color, like blue. Take the rope. I'm gonna make a mark like every hand span. Just
Okay.
okay.
Sex grip.
Yeah, that's what I'm pointing. So I have 10 marks. I'm gonna take the rope. I'm gonna throw it So some of the marks land outside, some of the marks land inside. So it goes boom, like
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna pull it back.
Okay.
How many marks?
It just goes until you let go. However far you
No,
throw it, it just goes.
no. I'm so the rope is bland and nothing. Marks here. I'm throwing it in so that it lands like this, and then pulling it back out. Do I get the whole rope back?
Yeah.
Okay. Doesn't seem to eat rope.
Just light.
Well, yeah, if it's not coming through. I mean, what about you try the leg?
Put him in here?
No,
You have a
the
lantern.
leg.
Oh,
Oh!
you want to see if it does anything?
Tie it
Excuse
up.
me while I whip this out.
Oh god, you're gonna throw it in there.
Tuck the demon leg in there.
Disappears.
Hold on. I'm just gonna circle. I'm gonna try to like edge around it to the far
It's
side.
on the far wall.
Yeah.
It is sitting on the wall.
Oh, it's on the wall?
There's
Yeah.
wall, and then there's an empty spot.
Okay.
You hear this sort of like, there's a brief moment where you catch it, you hear this sort of like sound. It's like the clicking of something together.
Like pinchers?
No.
Okay.
Like two objects colliding.
Oh.
Do you feel anything tugging it?
She's banging. Like,
Is anything pulling on it? Because we tied it to the rope. Is anything pulling on it?
No.
Pull it back. Pull it back. Pull the leg back.
like
It's
it's still
fine.
there. Yeah.
Maybe just eats light. Go maybe get closer with Velvet and see how far it shines.
Well, no, that's the thing. When the light hits it, it stops to exist. We don't see the light. It eats the source. But he and I think we both had the same experience. We got close to it. It felt like it was beckoning us. Like it was
no.
excited for us to enter it. And I know you weren't part of it, but the last time people were excited to go into an endless void, they didn't come back right. And they brought those nose things with them.
You,
Oh,
by the door,
yeah,
as you're sitting there,
that
you just hear this
green
very
thing
faint,
you're talking about.
go in.
Alright.
Who said that?
I'm gonna
Yeah, you
do
just
the
hear,
rope.
it's almost like something's telling you to go into the... And then, are you back as well?
I've been staying back. I don't feel good.
Okay.
After a few minutes, you hear,
I'm gonna.
Hey.
Okay, so we have him tied to a rope.
I'm already tying myself up.
Okay.
Really bad idea.
So we'll get to that.
He did get to that, and I tactfully ignored it. You probably still hear him skittering. It's a rusty cog.
That's what
Shut
it
the
is?
fuck up. Anyway, so he's tied up with the rope. I immediately knew what it was because Theta had this thought before, and I was, oh. So when it happened, I was like, well, I'm not letting
I
him
didn't know
out
that's
here.
what it was. I thought you were possessed by a
Yeah,
rope
rusty,
tiny
it
metal
is a
robot.
rusty cog.
Okay.
Alright, everybody.
So he's tied up.
Hang
Hold
out.
on. What can we tie this to?
You stay here and hold it.
No shit. But also grip strength. We lash it
One
or
of the
something.
things.
Is there
The
something?
Tell
Are
us
the
what
racks
might
built
Yeah, they have
in?
racks.
Are they built into the?
No. They're
Is it-
just sitting there. But they're heavy. They're big
Okay.
and heavy.
So I'll tie that off to that. Do a
Yeah.
nice clove hitch.
Alright.
Securing overhand.
You still have a tent?
Second securing overhand.
Do you what about like tent spikes or something?
No, I just painted the tent stakes. No,
Yeah.
fuck it.
It's still
good.
gonna work. Alright.
And then we're gonna hold on to this. He's gonna go in, and if you would narrate for us what's happening as you go.
All right.
So if you suddenly stop narrating or scream, and if you need help, yank on the rope.
Well, I'm gonna try upper body first, and if I'm good,
Lean in.
then I'll continue the rest of the way in.
Okay.
I'll
Put your
give
face
it.
through first. I like the approach.
I'll give it 3 rapid tugs if I'm dying.
No, I think any rapid tugs will assume
How long
you
have you
die.
been doing this for?
What do you mean?
Like walking in and stuff.
A couple minutes.
We're making all.
You're not
kinds
getting
of
no rest out of this?
Yeah, no.
Alright, I'm going in.
Sucks.
You're going inside the
Yes.
thing? Okay.
Buy more
No,
potions.
Darkness
Buy more
makes me scared.
potions.
Alright.
We didn't get a chance.
Welcome
And-
to the
and
Shadowfell!
I'm holding the.
You're fucked.
I'm holding the rope. Huh?
Because of the war.
I know.
So I couldn't buy them even if.
Buy more potions.
As you approach, I need you to make another wisdom saving throw.
That's great. 14.
14. As you get closer, you feel it hungering for you. It wants you to come in so bad. And you approach it, and as you get closer, you can feel like it begins to percolate in the back of your mind, like excitement, like, oh, I'm going in. This is what I want to do. I need to go inside.
Yay!
I'm so excited.
Okay, so
This is
you
rapidly becoming a better idea.
heading in?
Yeah.
Okay. You walk through. You see him. Are you narrating? What are you narrating?
Yep, I'm walking through.
Are you just gonna like regale him with something random?
No, this is actually becoming a pretty good idea, and you know, I'm actually thinking a really good idea.
And he walks into the darkness. And as he's talking, yeah, it sounds like a really gone. Nothing. Need you to make a charisma saving throw, please.
Those are really good at.
4, 5.
Yes, eat a
6,
dick, man.
7,
I don't even know what the fuck that is. Like 26.
Nice.
9.
26?
Yes.
As soon as you walk in, you're immediately surrounded by unadulterated darkness. You just feel everything kind of fade away, and the landscape makes no sense. Where you were once walking down a straight, narrow path, you're kind of now standing at an angle. The outcroppings of rock and stuff is alien in nature, just pointing all different directions. Like, mathematically, they shouldn't be able to hold themselves up in any logical sort of position. And as you stand there, you notice that you're not outdoors, but the sky is darkness, and you just get the feeling that there's more out there. And
like
now
no ceiling, like you feel when there's no ceiling.
Yeah, but you're hungry. You want everything. You want nothing. You just want everything. Yeah. You just can't fathom the idea.
I feel like that every day at lunch.
Yes.
So I'm gonna give it like 10, 20 seconds, and then I'm gonna give 3 sharp tugs on the rope.
Okay.
Don't.
You do feel those tugs.
Okay. And so it's total like just blackness.
It's darkness with alien shapes. You can hear noises. You can hear breathing, laughing, crying, screaming, everything, and then suddenly nothing, and it just gets silent.
Okay. I don't know how I feel about this.
Hungry.
I'm gonna start pulling on the rope and continue forward.
Okay, you see, go deeper in.
Yeah.
As this is happening, you suddenly hear this like chortling. Yeah.
One of you laughing back there?
No.
Wait, do we hear the laughing?
You would be able because you're by the door as well.
That's not me.
I need you to make another charisma saving throw, please.
You're ready to haul this back. He's going further in.
23.
He's not being dragged.
23. You, as you're walking, you're just like, yeah, all right. And then you're like, you start to get like emotional. Like you're sad, and then you start to get like angry and amped, and like you just want to fight, and it just keeps changing. Everything just seems to change constantly. I'm hungry. I'm tired. I wish I could take a nap. And you can't seem to stop the thoughts from just flooding through. And then as you kind of crest the corner of one of the rocky outcroppings that as you touch kind of feels slimy like a wet obsidian, you round one of the corners, and you still can't see, but it's like you know things are there, that there's more in and there's further behind you, but then you can't seem to grasp the fact that you feel like it never ends, that it's gonna go forever. Not a mile, not 10 miles, but it'll never stop. And then you kind of get that despair of like, it'll never go away, I can't walk that far.
It's getting depressing.
Yes.
Fuck.
Oh no. Now happy.
He's
All
stopped.
Now hungry.
I'm gonna
He's
turn
stopped.
around.
You turn around?
I'm gonna
I've
attempt
used the
to
rest
turn
of
around.
Make another wisdom saving throw.
Rope slack. Pulling the slack. He's either coming back or something bit him off the end.
15.
Well, do you feel weight? Oh no, we don't know.
No, I mean so as he was going, I was paying it out foot by foot to keep the tension on it, and then it went slack, but it didn't go abruptly slack, or didn't go tight and then slack.
Just like he stopped.
So I think we stopped moving.
But when you're pulling
and I kept
it,
the tension.
So, like,
Well, no, and then I got slack on it, so I started taking the slack up, and I hit resistance. So it's the best I can get is that he's coming back, but it could be anything.
Straight.
We have finished the ball.
It is fine.
Does nobody like ladies? Should I not get them?
I like them.
They're on the other side of the table.
Do you want the ladies?
Too far.
Here, I'll throw them to you.
Yeah. I'm gonna throw them in.
Bong!
I didn't know.
It hits the face and then
For some reason I was
chips.
thinking like turning it this way to throwing it.
Yeah.
Well, you don't throw it that way because the devil's in the room, so obviously it's going to tilt on its way over.
Yeah. You lob it one-handed, and it goes, and it just hits him
The
full in the
devil is in
face.
the
We get the
room?
nice bell ring, and all the chips go.
What was your
15.
15 for your wisdom saving throw?
Yeah.
You still feel like you should be here, and as that thought crosses your mind for a minute, I need to walk out. I'll just turn around and go back. It's like, but I don't wanna. But I should, and then you start to realize that like
work.
you wanna stay, but your feet begin moving back towards, and you torn, but you ultimately are resisting the effect and managing to.
And we're pulling back his slack
I go
and
to
reeling
work.
him in.
Okay, so you're pulling on him.
Yeah.
As you exit out the way, I need you to make another charisma save.
Did that you one in there, not us.
Yeah.
15 plus
I have that
23.
much charisma.
Me
23.
too.
As you cross the threshold, there's another minute where you
What's your-
feel
20.
Yours is at 20?
Charisma? Yes.
Oh wow. So you're like +5?
where as you're crossing through, this thought crossed your head, and it's funnier than it should be. And you're like, I should have everyone else come in too. Yeah, we should all go in here.
Right.
Obviously, we should go as a group. And then as you cross the pathway and the rope goes slack, and you can hear him kind of like, he's got like a smile on his face. He's like, yeah. And then you're like, well, you feel better.
So,
It's dark in there,
well,
and I like it.
did you see the torch?
Oh yeah, could you see the light at all?
No.
No.
It was weird.
I've seen mages cast darkness before. Was it like that?
Because I could see it, but I couldn't see it. We should not go in there. Because I thought it was a really good idea for us all to go in there.
What do you think's down there?
Everything.
What do you see?
Nothing.
There's laughing by the door.
And there's nothing? And
Yeah, something was chuckling when you went in on this side.
I want to try to listen. Can I maybe hear where it's coming from in this room?
Open your earballs up.
Yeah, go ahead and make a.
Fucker. 9.
9.
What about your keen hearing?
That's, yeah.
Okay.
I got a lot of shit going on.
Yeah, you got a lot of. You've been
He
through
was
a
just
lot.
brain molested.
Depression,
Hunger.
comfy warm blankets from the dryer. I don't want to go to work. Yeah.
As you're all kind of standing there,
Andy, come
Just
back.
waiting.
I'm gonna
You
go
can-
back to my position at the door and just.
hold the conch. As you're sitting there, you just hear this. You can all hear it. It's not hiding anymore.
Fucking Gigi.
And you just hear this. You should all go in.
Why?
Go in.
Why?
Do it.
Is it coming from out here?
It's coming from in the room with you, yeah.
Okay, we're
Can I
not- yeah.
look around with Balvin and see if I can see where it's coming from?
Yeah, making a
Yeah. Animal
Perception
handling check?
make a perception check.
I don't know if you
Sexual
said that, but
handling.
for some reason I heard animal handling. Oh, he's seen. 24.
He's also invisible, so you don't see anything. As you're going through, you just hear.
Is there any rocks or any loose
Go
gravel or
in.
anything?
The room down here is relatively untouched.
Is it like man-made?
The room, yeah.
Like the tunnel thing?
Look, guys. If we can get,
Do it.
if we can narrow down a nice corner of this room,
Oh,
we can
I
find it.
have caltrops.
Okay.
Can I look at caltrops?
Where?
I don't know, whatever way I heard the laughing coming from.
Go ahead and make an investigation check.
Probably not. That
What do
is
you
a 9.
want?
9.
9.
Sounds
I want you to go inside the portal
Why?
because it's better in there.
I mean,
Then why aren't you in there?
I gotta watch this side of the portal.
Yeah, I got that kind of job too.
Yeah.
You know, I'll watch this side if you want to go in and have fun.
No.
Sometimes that works.
dude, it's pretty good in there. Just want to say, it's a lot of stuff in there. It's a lot of stuff.
The master will be back soon.
How soon?
Soon enough.
Do you know what time it is?
It's about 3:30.
It doesn't answer that question.
How long have you been here for? How long has the master been here for?
Can I pin down where it's coming from in the room?
It's hard to tell, but
Sure.
it seems to be echoing. You're getting it's happening on the left-hand side of the room somewhere.
Okay, then I'd like to go over to the right-hand side of the room.
Okay.
And I would like to take out my tomahawk, and I will prep it, and I will wait for somebody to come through that portal.
Can I just walk around the room?
Sure.
I want to see if I run into anything.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just going to crash into things?
Well, no, I'll keep my arms at my side for the most part, and then occasionally I'll shut them out.
Flail.
Well, disembodied voice. Which way is the master coming from? Out here or through the portal?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? You know he's coming, right?
How high is the ceiling here?
It's like 10 feet.
Why is he your master?
Because he calls the shots.
I'm going to try to poke the ceiling with my hammer.
Ting,
He's the ringleader. He calls the shots.
As I'm walking around.
He is the gatekeeper.
Just go inside.
No.
We did that already. Nothing happened.
Look, I'm real tired. I can't go in there right now.
It'll be fine.
If I trip and fall, I'm going to be in big trouble. That's not funny.
It's a little funny.
Not funny.
Do you want to sit down next to me?
I can't fucking.
Try to close your eyes.
Don't let me get in the hole.
I mean, okay. Sure.
I'm getting sleep.
We're gonna take a peek upstairs.
Alright.
Start heading upstairs.
Yeah, I'm gonna stuff the conch away and
Start creeping.
yeah.
Just to creep in.
Peep through one of the windows.
Heading upstairs and looking around, you see that the streets are fully alive with all manner of creatures. And you see there's the undead are rounding about. You see that there are all manner of monsters.
Can we hear them from down here?
No, it's muffled. It would be muffled and gone unless they made a loud enough noise to echo down the hallway.
Well, that's fine. So I'm asking, is there any point when they make a loud enough noise?
No, it doesn't seem like if you made a loud enough noise. You'd have to make a substantial noise, like a gunshot or an explosion.
You'd have to now. They weren't out earlier when I did it. Maybe that's why they're out.
After careful consideration, I'm going to put my tomahawk away.
Slide it back in there. Okay.
It explodes.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna take out my longsword.
Okay.
And I'm gonna look at it. Look around the room and go, where are you?
He sees. You can't tell.
I just have the hilt. I'm not.
You're holding it. And he's like, nowhere.
Okay. I would like to attempt to zero in on that voice and attack where I think it is.
Okay. Go ahead and make an attack roll at disadvantage.
13.
So everybody in this party has a way of summoning these things, except me. Explosion, gunshot.
No, I'm not using the explosion.
No.
Oh, but you just mean attracting attention?
I'm not that guy this time.
You don't have shatter yet.
I also have the staff of bird calls too.
Oh, wait a minute. Why is that mini on the board? That's a big tall mini. That's a big mini there.
That's what we fought earlier.
Okay, good. Well, I don't know. I wasn't fighting, so I
You
didn't.
were
I didn't pay
inside it.
attention.
Yeah, you didn't really do much fighting. I mean, you did the one big part of that fight.
I initiated the fight.
Yeah, the worst part actually.
I kicked it off. I started the party.
Not a,
Now I'm fancy.
No pluses for that.
I'm gonna take this one.
Okay. You huck your was it the sword?
I'm not throwing it. I'll move to wherever I think it's coming from.
Your sword.
Yeah, with the long sword.
Swinging out, you hear.
Just not. It won't cut anything up in the room.
You hear a startled "Blah!" and then as you swing out, nothing. But suddenly you hear a of something hitting the ground and then scurrying, and then you hear like a surprise like.
I'm gonna do my best to pursue these sounds. I'm gonna try to kill this thing.
It is going to attack. Lucrezia.
Oh.
With a natural 20.
I hate this game. Fuck! Why do I keep getting hit with that twice?
Because you told it. out loud.
That you were hurt.
That you were
bad.
hurt to the point, and if you got
tripped
hit
and fell, you'd die.
You would die.
The minute you said that, I was like, why would you tell someone that?
I thought that was accurate.
Make a Constitution saving throw.
You said it to the voice.
What is this?
Not great.
No.
Damn it. Why'd you have to be a human?
10. Why?
That is the number you
I'm gonna
need.
see if I can devour.
Can
I devour?
What ability do you get?
You're a monk who
He
knows.
gets stunning strike.
No.
I could get chakra.
He gets 10 years younger.
So
No,
you
more
run
than
across
10.
into this area. She's
No.
resting here.
Yeah.
Maud's in here. You're outside. Go ahead.
Wait, so do I still get hit with something or no?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're fucked.
Yeah, you're fucked.
It's going to be 5 points of
I'm unconscious.
poison or piercing damage. Sorry. Do we have a little?
He just stood over your laying form and went.
How?
We'll do this guy. We'll do this guy.
Can I see the mark?
If you don't want to put him on the board, I understand that.
As you swing and you hear the scurrying, you hear the surprised yell and shriek, and as you whip around, you just see like Lucrezia laying there, and then suddenly you just see something dig into her, and you just see like blood spray out. She kind of like surprised and then passes out. As the form of it appears, it's this tiny green spined creature with like a long sort of tail. It's reverse jointed legs. It's got like a toothy maw and like 2 big horns that come out the top, and it's like. That is it for its turn, so I need everyone to roll initiative.
Oh boy. Son of a bitch.
16, 18, 16.
Fuck. Woof. Alright. Lucrezia, what is yours?
Do I roll?
Yeah.
I do?
That's
Oh, yeah,
it.
because you have
Still
death
roll?
saving throws.
Oh, should I do that right now?
Yeah.
No,
Well,
you'll do
go
it
to
on
your
your
initiative
turn.
so we know where you sit in turn order. You roll real well.
15.
15.
Not like last time when I rolled 20.
What, 25 to 20.
20.
Ooh, wow, that's nice. 20. And he rolled
Minus
a
13.
20, so
Couldn't roll
23,
fucking 10.
20. What was yours?
He's got 10. Or 13.
13, what's yours?
5.
5, 13,
20.
15.
I thought about as we were walking into that temporary hit point thing, but I'm like, no, we got time.
So,
Running around with 2 hit points, no big deal.
top of the round, it is unfortunately its turn. And it is going to... It is going to use its action to go back invisible. So it vanishes, and then it's going to... You hear it as it begins to run.
I'm going to attempt to track it.
Okay. Go ahead and make a survival check, please.
Well, I'm only listening for it. I don't know if my survival. Never mind, I rolled the same number twice and it's a good number. So fuck it. So +1, so 19.
19, you get the sense that it's going up the stairs.
I will pursue.
Okay. What's your movement?
It's 25, but I can dash if it seems like it's getting. I use my BA to dash if it seems like it's getting out of my range.
Which one do you want to do? I can't tell. It's just running.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna attempt to attack him.
Okay.
So I want to catch up with him. So if I'm tracking him and I can kind of get an idea of where Ishit is, you know.
25 will put you here.
Yeah, I mean,
You haven't run into it yet.
then I'll dash. That was a bonus action. Yeah.
Okay. As you go, you barrel into the back of something that you collide with. It's still invisible.
Bounce
but
apart. Yeah.
You can
So
make
I'm not
your,
sure where he is, and I'll
make your attack roll a disadvantage.
That's not bad. That's a 20.
20 hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
What do you do? Oh, that's nice. It's one of. I love when you forget the shape of dice. There we go. +5. 10.
10 points of damage?
Yeah.
As you bring it around, the sword of lights glows, at which point you hear the surprise, and then you just swing straight through, and you actually manage to feel it connect into the front of this thing. And as it cuts through the front of it, its form begins to reappear, and its upper half just falls off, and it drops. And then it begins to disappear, like evaporate,
Wow.
Like the goats.
like the goats.
Can I snatch at its clothing and try to pull something off of it?
Oh, it's naked. It's
Nothing?
It's a naked creature. Yeah.
Oh, but he doesn't have anything on him. He doesn't have a symbol, a necklace, a stolen bracelet, nothing? Okay.
Just a little guy.
I'm going to attempt to grab its torso and pull it up to my face as it's...
You just seem like... And you got it. Begins to disintegrate.
Put the sword back into the loop.
Got
turn
it.
Up, get that blade going. Stalk back downstairs. It's dead.
Damn.
Went down quick. Quicker than... And taking more work killing farm animals.
Lucrezia, make a death saving throw.
I'm gonna head downstairs.
How's she?
16.
Bleeding.
16 succeeds. As you hear a surprised yelp and you turn around and see Theta holding up nothing, and he's like, and then you can see him walk down the stairs, but you see like smears of like viscous sort of blood that's been like peeling away and lifting into the air.
If we're out.
Oh, I can see him?
No, he sees you as he followed the noise back as you turned and walked downstairs.
If we're out of combat, I'd like to move over and try to stabilize.
Okay,
Or at
make a
least
medicine check.
check up on her. 'Cause
Medicine check.
I told you about my healer's kit.
Oh yeah, you know about our healer's kit in her bag.
If they use the healer's kit, you don't have to make a check.
Well, but do you go for it or do you just try to do it?
I'm going to check up on you first because I don't know that you're dead. You might just be unconscious.
And she seems unconscious.
Oh, well, she's unconscious. Yeah, I'm fucking rummage through her stuff.
Yeah, and then use the healer's kit. So mark off a use of the healer's kit. You are stabilized at 0.
So no more to say.
If you
Correct.
want, you can keep making saves and hope you'll get a 20.
And in 4 hours, you will be at 1 health.
Okay.
Or 1d4 health. I don't remember how that works.
It's the hours, and then you'll be at 1, I think.
What are you doing?
I'm on my way back down.
Okay,
Okay.
you swing back downstairs.
So I hope you guys are comfortable because we're not going anywhere for a while.
Well, we kind of have no choice.
The little thing said that the master's going to be back soon.
Did you guys lose it?
I don't know what or who that is. It might be related to this. We can attempt...
Also, the woman frog thing said the same thing.
Yeah, well, she said that she failed her master.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine that's part of it. Should we lock her in a room that's safe? And
Yes.
batten
Regardless,
down-
we should not be here in this room because
I agree.
there's some
Let's
shit on
carry
the
her.
other side of that stuff.
Let's carry her.
Yeah.
We'll gather Lou up, take her upstairs, find an empty room.
Okay. You guys,
Preferably with fewer
That's the
windows.
perfect time, too.
that is the perfect time. It is 10:02. So you guys wind down, and that is where we'll end today's session. Good job, everybody. Way
Also,
to go.
Was
with
it-
that,
was it-
I'd like to say that with that strike, I felt like someone I knew hated this creature, and that guided my hand.
All right, let me get the. All right, guys. So we're gonna go down, and we will see you next Monday for some random games, probably some Cuphead or something, and then we'll be back Tuesday for the continuation of this campaign. So
I should have Monday available to watch you guys this week, or this coming week, because I didn't yesterday.
it was good. It's some good stuff.
It was good.
So we
busy
will see you
growing
guys
and-
later. I hope you enjoyed. Bye 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 bye.
Bye.
Run away.
First time.
Costume time. Run away.
That's good.
Are you warm in there?
Barry.
Like